Yo, what's going on, everyone?
I assume y'all are ready to go. Noodle, you got your stream running?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Okay. So, in our last session, a high and mighty 2 weeks ago, you all, having made your way back from the assault on the Golden Brand, having set it to fire and changed its name to the Burning Brand and lit it up
Hmm.
like a beacon for all the town to see, uh, returned to the safe shelter of the Trebane Manor. You rested there for a time, taking a day to decompress, to assess your newfound gear, of which there was much, to purchase new equipment from the local armor and quartermaster. Zale, you suffered a casualty during the course of the assault. There were many casualties, in fact. The slaves you all had worked so hard to free ended up being slaughtered quite horribly by the Mardoons and their relentless army of enforcers. Among them, a childhood friend of yours, a woman you had only recently reunited with, having lost in your childhood, a now it seemed druid named Zamara. In the moment that you returned with the boat to rescue her and the other slaves, she turned to see you and was run through with a blade and killed instantly. You retrieved her body, made your way back up the river with a mere two slaves in tow, the rest having been forced to jump into the river or die by the sword. And so, with her corpse in tow, you returned to the manor, and you beseeched the aid of Lord Trevane, the enigmatic, ancient elf lord of this crime family, and he offered you a bargain. In exchange for the vast majority of your life force, you could bring her back to this world. However, you would be left with a mere 5 years to live, and perhaps other physical maladies we have yet to discuss.
You never
Hmm.
said that last week.
We shall see. We shall see.
Oh, you fucking whore.
Uh,
Shut up and take it.
you chose
You
this path.
accepted. You accepted.
It's fine.
So the
In the
truest thing is you
morning,
trusted him.
you never should trust me. Never, not a single word I say.
I learned this at Helly's. Don't trust him.
Mhm. In the morning, you all were then approached by a contact of the Jagantoth family. If you'll recall, the whole reason you assaulted the Golden Brand in the first place was to get the attention of this family, to strike a blow against their enemy, because the Jagantoths, more than any other family in in Shady Creek Run, have information, which you need, both to pursue your own ends, to make good on your own vendettas, or look into your own pasts, as well as to find out the plans of one Adrian Lux, which you did. It seems that he and his party are striking north into the Savalier Wood toward Malaeus Mere, toward a ruin about 125 odd miles through. It will take them some time to reach it, but not so long that you can afford to wait. His plan, it seems, is to activate the ruin, and with it, create a stable portal with which to teleport troops, supplies, and other odds and ends by the hundreds into the wood to embark on a more rigorous expedition toward the Sundered City. You have only just learned this information, as well as a few personal odds and ends that you sought to ask of this informant, a man named Mercer, and stepped out of his massive carriage, his wheelhouse. As we stand, the wheelhouse rolls down the road, leaving a cloud of dust behind, outriders trailing, following the carriage on horseback. The five of you, standing and watching them go on this gray, overcast, dreary day. But we will go back for just a moment to the night before. Zale, alone in your bedchambers, looking out of your window. Zamara, dead on your bed, clean and pristine after the ceremony you cast upon her. You hear a knock at your door.
Come in.
The door opens, and in walks Talir, a sort of brown-skinned wood elf with a concerned cast over his face, wearing well-kept robes. He looks at you, he looks to Zamara. and he says, I am told that you beseech the aid of our master, that you are to follow me to the ritual chamber. Are you ready?
I am. And I'll pick up Zamara.
Talir is silent as he leads you down the corridor. It is dark. At the moment, would anyone else happen to be awake at this time as Talir leads him
I mean,
outside of his room?
I remember last time I would have been waiting and
I
listening
do.
by the door.
I do remember that, Morris. Go ahead and make a perception check.
Okay.
Anyone else who wishes to, who believes their characters would be around and up at this time, you may feel free.
I can't remember. Did we know he was gonna do this? Or did he
No.
not tell anybody?
He
No.
never told any of you, but with sufficient insight checks it led you to believe that something might be up with Zale. That he may have...
I mean, the next
Seems-
day they didn't know, so I'm assuming if we're gonna go back and do it, I'm gonna assume none of them knew that I snuck
Yeah, I
away.
was gonna say the same.
It's up to you. Morris made the point last session that he wanted to keep tabs, in which, but a 6 is not very high.
No.
Unless anyone else has any other input, Zale will continue down the chamber, walking as light as he can for this massive, what are you, 7.5 feet tall?
6'8".
6'8", almost 7 feet then, yeah. This fucking massive, giant behemoth of a man, heavily muscled. No armor, no greatsword this time, just a corpse in his hands, but not exactly a stealthy type. However, you attract no attention in the dead of night, until you're leading you on. He leads you down the sweeping, like curved staircase toward the grand foyer. Leads you down a long and shadowed hallway, down a set of stairs into the basement, until you eventually come to this grand chamber, like oval in shape, long and wide. The walls lined with these long glass tanks, filled with some strange arcane liquid. Bodies suspended within, of all sorts. Men, women, a few children here and there of all races and types. There is a circle in the center of the room, an arcane circle full of glyphs and wards carved into the stone and upraised on a plinth about 2 inches off the ground. Talir moves forward and sweeps his hand at the circle and says, lay her there, and stand not far. I will perform the necessary spells.
I'll just do all of that silently.
I must inform you one last time, Zell. This will not be without consequences. I am sure Lord Tribane already informed you, but this is a taxing thing you are undergoing, and no one would think less of you if you were to retreat. Taking your silence as consent, he pulls a bit of a grimace. All right, very well. This will take some time. If you have a belt, I would bite down on it now. It will not be pleasant for you. And he bids you to kneel down before the corpse of Zamara, such that you are perhaps 2 feet up from her, her face close to yours, looking down on your knees. He bids you to place one hand on one symbol of the stone and another hand on another symbol of the stone, such that you are almost looming over her, head down, looking toward her. And finally, he places his hand on your back. You can feel the calluses of his hand through the thin fabric of your nightshirt. And suddenly there is a sensation like your blood is being drawn out of you, destroying those who would seek to put in chains free men and women like you. And you endure. Time stretches on. 10 continuous minutes. The pain melts into itself. Before too long, all you know is pain. It seems that 10 minutes becomes 20, then 30, and then an hour at last before Talir releases his hand from you and the strength is gone from your body as you slump down, nearly falling on top of Zamara. breathing hard. Talir looks down at you, approaching from around the edge of the circle. Then he too kneels down over Zamara's body, and there is a light in his hands, this sickly red glow. And he reaches over and he places his hand on Zamara's chest, and that glow shoots into her, and her body jumps, stutters, galvanized like electricity. And then he pulls back, and the glow is gone, and Talir wipes sweat off his forehead, and he says, "It is done. She will awake within the next 2 or 3 days or so. She is alive. Her body is terribly weak, but she will live. And you, my friend, He looks away, not able to meet your eyes. It is a greater sacrifice than I could have made. I shall say that much.
Growing old is a privilege, not a right. And I have not lived a privileged life.
He looks deeply saddened by this. I can give you a room for her if you like, or she will need constant care, and I imagine your time will not leave you with much space to attend to her. I will see to it that she comes to. And as for you, you should probably get some sleep while you still can. I'm afraid your burdens will not grow any easier on you.
Would I, even though I've got not got my armor, would I have my coin purse with her? Coin purse? Would I have like my medieval wallet with me?
Sure, why not?
I'll just slip him 200 gold and be like, give this to her when she wakes. Make sure she's looked after. I assume we'll be gone before she is fit to leave.
He takes the coin and looks to you and looks to her and gives a serious nod. It will be done. I must say, she is, I can tell from the course of the spell, quite a potent, well, user of magic in and of herself. She could be an asset to you. Would you bid me to send her after you wherever you go?
Once we realise what we're doing, inform her of where we have gone. It will be her decision what she does. I've merely given her freedom.
Very well.
And Talia,
Yes.
thank you.
Of course. I have not known you all very long, and it has been a very tumultuous day in which we have met. But I can tell, you all are good souls, making right action. It's something this world could stand to see more of, I think. I'll retire now. I will leave you to her. And he gives a nod and stands up.
And sorry, Verb, did you say that Zamara would have her own room, or am I leaving her in mine?
Talir said that he could arrange to have a room set aside for...
Yeah, so I'll just go drop her in a room.
Sure. That works. There's plenty of empty guest rooms in the same wing that you all are kept at. Easy enough to just pick any single one. Alright. So this happened the night before. Mercer and his Jagantoth informants arrived to pick you all up at the front of the Trebane Manor. The next morning, all of the next morning, Zale, you feel physically fine. Physically no less worse for wear as you go through your proceedings and sit in with this wheelhouse and go through these negotiations with this man. And standing on your own 2 feet, you feel as normal as you ever have. Watching the carriage go, surrounded by the group of your allies. Mentally, however, the weight of what you did weighs on you. And here you all stand. The day is yours. What would you wish to do with it?
First of all, D, that was sick. just above table. That was awesome. I enjoyed that whole thing.
I literally said one line and Verb did the rest. So
but
that's
it was
all
but
Verb.
it was still awesome. Just like that whole scene. Like, it was sick. I would like to go and look for Sir Pon.
Okay. Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
Just around about the city if he's still about.
Okay, okay. So it has been. You took. Let me just consult the timetable. But after the assault on the brand, you took 1 day to decompress,
Yep.
sort of hanging around the manor. So it's day 3 now since you've returned to Shady Creek Run. 2 days since the assault on the brand. I would say at this point things have died down a little bit. There's no like patrols swarming the streets or anything. It's easy enough to, as long as you keep your hood up and your head down, it's easy enough to make your way through unmolested. What exactly is the manner of your search, and is anyone else going with you?
I don't know if anyone's coming with me, but I would like to.
I'll go with him.
I would like to
I'll-
recruit him to come with us to Molasmere.
Yep, gotcha. How do you seek to find him? Shady Creek Run is a big place, and there's lots of places where people can gather.
So I imagine hitting local inns to ask mercenary companies if they've seen the Scarred Seven about or know where they usually frequent.
Certainly. Go ahead and make an investigation check for me, with advantage if Zale is helping.
I mean, I imagine he is.
I
Sure.
will be.
Yeah, cool. Advantage, give me something good. That's a 17.
17 is pretty good. Pretty good. Indeed. Sir Pon is not a quiet fellow. He is not prone to keeping quiet about his deeds and giving himself the benefit of elusiveness and anonymity. And in fact, you do hear several people talking about this funny little goblin fellow who came in boasting about his glorious assault against the hand of injustice, as it were. They point you to not deeper into the city, but further out from it, on the outskirts, in the slums area, where even the families have sort of a poor hold on the region. Too many independent gangs and such making their own way there. With a 17, yeah, I would say that's good enough. They point you to a local tavern and flophouse known as the Broken Nail.
Okay.
And apparently, this is where Sir Pon and his survivors are staying. What few of the Scarred Seven made it out of the Burning Brand. You come up to this place, this dilapidated, disheveled tavern, sort of gray wood planks, a disgusting face, a sort of faded look, like a place that's been distorted and left warped out of time. The windows frosted over with grime, smudgy, hard to see through. You see oily lantern light burning within through the glass. The door hangs slightly open, like it can't quite close fully. You hear the sounds of muted conversation drifting from inside.
Head on in.
You head on in.
Yeah.
Yep. It is quite a cozy, tight little space. A bar, tables. The barkeep is a halfling man with wizened features, gray beard, patchy beard, looking a little bit like he doesn't really ever bother to take care of it, and eyes deep set into his face like they've seen a lot of shit. There's a couple patrons talking at the bar. The halfling looks up at you, squints. Interesting pair you are, Zale, the giant human man. I assume armed and armored at this point.
Yes.
Yeah.
Morris in your new half-plate armor. No weapon at your side that you can see, and that only makes you more suspicious to him.
Fucking right.
What you want? Ah?
Looking for a goblin by the name of Sir Pon.
There ain't no fucking goblin here. Get away! Get out of here!
Can I see if he's telling the truth, or is he just being a bitchy little...
Make an insight check. 20. Wow, that's pretty good. Indeed, he is lying. You suspect that he is actually trying to defend Sir Pon
Okay.
by deflecting searchers. I don't know what you want. Get out of here. Buy a drink or something, but don't ask about any goddamn goblins.
I'm gonna
There are none here.
Okay, so...
We're the reason he's out of the brand and he's here, and we need to speak to him. Now, either you see him or I tear myself through this fucking building and find him.
what he said.
Make an intimidation check.
Can I stand menacingly next to Zale as he says this and let my eyes go all
Uh,
black?
You know what? You sure can, Morris. Make an intimidation check of your own.
I was gonna.
25 's
It was
pretty-
more to help Zale on his than to do my own. But he's around a 25 anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, sure. I guess it doesn't matter at all. 25 is pretty fucking good. This Zale, you are exceptionally tall for a human. This halfling is short for a halfling, probably standing at about like 2'10" in total. So you are 3 times his size. You tower over him. He looks up at you from his little stool, and he is standing on a stool to be a little more eye level with the rest of you all. But even then, he feels tiny. He hunches in on himself, and he says, I'm sorry, Pon. I'm sorry." And he just crying to himself, and he points you behind his way, and there's a set of stairs leading up. Third door on the left. Just don't hurt me, please.
And I'll just get down to eye level with him, just kind of lurching forward, and I'll be like, "Thank you. 2 ales, please."
God damn, Zale.
Sniffling up tears and wiping at his eyes, he goes and starts to pour 2 very shitty ales that you can smell from here, and they are rank and sour.
And I'll just pick them up, hand one to Morris, and be like, "On the house, I assume," and then walk off.
Fucking yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
He does not. The halfling man does not argue.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
All right.
I'll
Just
grab an ale.
Take his business while you're at it.
Give the halfling a sympathetic look, and then move on up the stairs.
Yeah, this halfling needs all the sympathy you can get.
Clearly.
As you go up the stairs and you go to the door of Sir Pon. Oddly enough, there are many sized doors down this hallway, some quite large and some quite tall, apparently built to accommodate creatures of all sizes. Sir Pon's door is on the smaller side, though he has human compatriots, so they can squeeze through as well. You stand outside the door. Do you knock or open it straight up?
Can I give it a look to see if he's, put anything? I don't know. Just make sure. I don't know.
Like a booby trap?
If he would have booby trapped, it's an inn. I'll give it a knock. I'll just knock on the door.
Okay. You knock on the door. There's no immediate answer. And then you hear a faint scrabbling of what sounds like claws on wood. And
Sir Pon, it's us
After-
from the Brown.
is it truly?
I swear on my life, it is us. We're just here to talk. I have a proposition for you.
A proposition. I will let you know I'm not quite attracted to tall ones such as you, but I will hear your proposition.
No, nothing like that. This proposition involves...
and the door swings open, and you see the goblin Sir Pon in his studded leather armor. Interesting suit of armor, actually. It's looks like plates. It almost looks like plate mail, just made from boiled leather instead, and it is pristine and clean, indicating that it may be magic in nature. He has behind him one of the rookies that he took with him on that mission. One of the guy you actually gave a bunch of gold to, Morris. You recognize his face. This blonde, like 17-and-a-half-year-old kid. You don't know how you could tell he's 17 and a half. You just can. With a patchy beard that he appears to be trying to grow and kind of failing a little bit. These piercing baby blue eyes. And the hedge knight in his battered chainmail, as well as the highwayman, a rogue in leathers of his own, wielding 2 daggers at his hip. And they all give you a look and look you over, and the rookie smiles and says, "Ah, hey man, you made it. Good to see you."
Good to see you too. I see you made it out through the river.
Yeah, just barely. I didn't actually know I could swim when I jumped in, but I figured it out.
Nicely done. Nicely done. Look, Sir Pon, time is fairly short, so I'll cut straight to the chase. I'd like to hire you and your band to come with us into the Savalier Wood.
We have money.
We have money. And,
Okay, we have money.
well, I was still more thinking offering a cut of whatever we find in terms of gold and artifacts.
The goblin's bright golden yellow eyes that almost seem to glow in this dim light, they widen a bit. "You're going into the Savalier Wood."
Yes. We're chasing down the bastard wizard who means to siege the city of Molasmere.
A bastard wizard, huh? I've dealt with quite a few bastard wizards in my time. Terrible, terrible types.
Yes, truly. This one we have a personal vengeance against as well.
Also, he plans to raise an army armed to the teeth with magical artifacts for the Empire.
That too.
His eyes, which were wide, narrow, in eminent suspicion. The Empire, The hand that seeks to oppress the free men and women of this glorious continent, to oppress the glorious Sarpon. I hate the Empire. They drove me from my home, sent slavers after me. And this bastard wizard, you say, he works for them?
He does. I can't. What was he? Who does he work for again? Can't remember off the top of my head. He's.
Adrian Lux would be an archmage of the Cerberus Assembly,
Do we
which
know
is
that
a.
about him? Did Mercer tell us that?
You would know about that.
I would relay that back to Serpon then and say he's a mage of the
That
sun.
much he doesn't really seem to understand.
Okay.
You get the sense that Serpon has 9 intelligence. He's not the most learned person in the world.
He's a bastard wizard, and we have common goals.
And that's good enough for him. Truth be told, the glorious Serpon does owe you a favor. You have saved his life and those of his compatriots. I would do this for you, and I would, if it were just my own sword I was offering, I would do it for free. But I have my men to look after. They follow where I shall go. For a cut of whatever it is you find, we will aid you in this endeavor.
I'm willing to offer you 10% of anything we find.
Jesus. That's not much.
It's not bad at all. Man's got
His
4
eyes-
men on his hands, and he's sick.
He gives a nod. 10% of nothing is still nothing, but you have the look about you of men who have found many great treasures and fought for many great battles in your lives. I believe this will be a very fruitful endeavor.
Then
Where shall we meet you?
And we have a deal. We are currently staying at the Trebane's Manor. We will inform the guards of your coming and let them know to let you in.
We shall be there
can
before
we-
the day is done.
Can we just invite people to Trebane's Manor?
Yeah.
Like, don't. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, I have a +1 and a +1 and a +1.
Yeah,
Can they come in?
dude, I'm just going to go speak to Talia and be like, look, this is happening, man. We're not going to be in your hair much longer. We just need a place to set out from. They won't be any kind of, we might put them in an inn nearby, maybe, but they'll meet us there. Or something like
Alright.
that.
Can I bring 10 homeless back as well?
You know what? Just as Morris and Zale are closing out this deal, is there anything else you two would like to do? If not, we shall return to the manor, to Kieran and Ish. What are you two planning to do with this day?
Well, it sounds like I'm inviting homeless people back to the manor.
If that's your plan, Ish, how do you wish to go about this?
I've wandered the streets for the last few days, if not longer, wouldn't I? Doing my godly and noble duties.
Yeah, I mean, you've had a day to, in that day of decompression and buying out gear and such, I would say you would have had time to go and wander the streets and whatnot, and you could be doing it even now as Morris and Zale are out and about. Are you...
So I would be familiar with people who need the assistance most.
I would say yes. At this point, you have definitely been to the slums and the areas impoverished, and you've seen many a starving face in this time.
So I will invite the 10 most destitute people that I know of, or more,
Okay.
back for a bath and a bed and a big feast.
All right. Okay.
And
Okay.
beyond.
So, the people of Shady Creek Run are. This is not the right music for what we're doing here. There we go. The people of Shady Creek Run are a hardened and suspicious lot, not prone to accepting handouts by nature of often those handouts are fucking poisoned. How exactly do you approach them? What is?
Given small blessings.
Okay.
For Lashandar in the past day or two. So
Okay.
maybe I would have earned their trust a little bit, and I would have just said, I know you're down on your luck. I've got an opportunity here for you if you want to take it. I can give you a bed for the night and food and a bath.
Okay.
If you want to have those things, follow me and I can hook you up.
Go ahead and make both a religion and a persuasion check for me.
With advantage.
Uh, let's consider what we'll go with whatever's higher of the two.
Okay.
18's pretty good.
Religion and persuasion.
And persuasion. 10. Oh, the 18's pretty good. Striking up a religious fervor in these downtrodden men and women and children, these impoverished souls, these neglected and discarded of society. With your offers of Lathander's light and eternal salvation in his glory, their souls saved forevermore, and mostly the offer of warm bed and a bunch of food to eat when they've been starving for the past few weeks. You inspire these 10 men and women to come back with you, and before too long you are leading your own little horde of people, of a hobo army behind you. And it is actually quite an inspiring sight. This little armored gnome, I assume wielding your anointed shield and mace, leading them forward on a charge toward the north. These hobos clamoring behind you, their eyes bright with anticipation.
Can we sing a little religious hymn on the way?
I would say you have to teach them, but yes, indeed. Before too long, you have a quite spurious chant going up and filling the morning air. People turning to look at you and going like, "Hey, what the fuck?" Very out of sight in this dirty city.
Oh, I love it.
Okay. While that's going on, is there anything you would like to do, Kieran?
Busty?
Sorry, I was muted. My bad. So quickly, I know that last time we went into the carriage with the person from Jagantoth.
Yes, that would have been the agent named Mercer.
Can you please give me like a very quick rundown on what we agreed to do with him?
Well, as of yet, you haven't actually agreed to do much of anything. He has basically said to you that he would be willing to. Well, you've gotten his attention. He gave you the information you sought about Adrian, and he alluded to the possibility of possibly working together again in the future if they had worked for you. He advised you on a few possibilities of things you could do, like recruiting allies, venturing into the woods after him. But as of yet, you have not made any binding arrangements with the Jagantoths or him.
Okay. Well, fuck, what am I gonna do? I haven't thought about this. Okay. I would like to try to find the darkest, most secret room, corner, place in the Trebane Manor. And I would like to talk to my Whisper in Shadows.
Okay. So I assume you are sneaking through the manor and doing this
Yes.
away from the supervision. Okay,
Yes.
alright. Okay,
You
alright.
might hear some muttering as I walk past them, but
Indeed, anyone who gets sufficiently close might even hear the Eldritch whispers coming from the orb itself. I'm gonna ask you to make first a stealth check for me, as you presumably throw up the hood of your cloak and begin to skulk and press low, darting through the shadows of this darkened place. And there are many shadows here, despite it being a manor in which people live. The Trebanes do love their mystery factor. That is a stealth check for you.
yeah, one sec. So what is I've got a new browser. What was that D&D extension again?
D&D
No,
what
it's
is it
not.
called?
Beyond 20.
Beyond 20, that's it.
Thank you. I can't find it. All right, let me just roll in here for now.
It should be fine. I have your modifiers all set up as well on your sheet if you just alt click.
Yeah, let me just do that then. Roll from there. Apologies.
Yep, no worries. So just roll twice, or however the advantage works on that.
Okay. Oh yeah,
well-
First one, sorry.
We would be going with the first one because it
Yeah,
auto
yeah.
rolls with advantage. So that's a total of 9. Okay. I'm gonna roll a d20 here. You want a low number to beat your stealth. Oh, that's a 20.
Oh my gosh.
That's a 20. Kieran, you are but 5 steps into your grand and glorious expedition, having ducked behind the grand, like, sweeping circular staircase that leads to the second floor. You know there are many darkened hallways beyond that point and behind that point that lead down deeper and below into the chamber. Waiting for a moment when the guards are not looking, and there are many guards in the foyer, always at least 4, some with crossbows, some with rifles, all of them otherwise armed in some way, watching. You look for your opening, and you believe you have it, and you dart forward, and 5 steps in, you are grabbed by the nape of your neck, and you turn and scramble. You picked up off the ground, feet kicking in the air, and you turn and look over your shoulder, and you see a hulking Goliath, easily as tall as Zale, and perhaps as broad too, with a firm, muscled forearm, pulsing with veins, gripping you, scowling down at you, and he says, "Where do you think you're going, little man?"
Oh, excuse me, big guy. I appear to be lost. Is this not where the food is?
And he hurls you like a football back into the main foyer. Roll an acrobatics check for me.
Acrobatics.
17. You do not take 2 points of bludgeoning damage. You, in fact, pirouette in the air, catch yourself, and do a 3-point landing, sliding across the floor as the Goliath crosses his arms and looks at you and says, "Go no further."
What lies beyond there, my good man?
He gives a big old Goliath grunt, spits at his feet, and walks back up the stairs.
I
You
will
get
continue
you feel
to try to find the dark corner.
you feel many eyes on you at this point. You will have to try to find another approach or wait some time. Currently, you're in the main foyer of the building. There may be other entrances you don't know about.
Okay, I will settle with my room then.
Okay, all right. You go back to your
guess.
room. All right, a little bit defeated, unfortunately. Your stealth not having quite won the day for you. But as you go to your room and close and lock the door behind you and draw the curtains on your windows because you don't want anyone else seeing the beauty of the object in your hands, you
No.
sit down with the pulsing purple black orb, and it consoles you like a lover would with soft, gentle words of encouragement, saying, "Their secrets will be yours one day, lovely Kieran. Do not be defeated." And, well, I say that's enough time to pass that we can circle back around. Morris and Zale, are you returning straight to the manor, or do you have other business to attend to in the city?
I believe Zale wanted to do something. If he's
D?
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
It's back to
Can hear
us.
I thought Kieran was doing his stuff.
No, it's back to
and I
us.
was just Ah, right.
You
Sorry.
wanted to do something.
No, I had a
didn't you?
moment. I was right. On the way back to the mansion, Verb, are we going to go past any of the jewelers?
Oh, interesting. Roll an investigation check for me. Are you actually searching for them out, or is this like a happenstance thing? Like if you just happen to see any?
I would like to find a couple, if not one. I want to see how this goes.
I will help him.
Okay, make an investigation check with advantage as Morris helps you out. Ooh, 19, that's pretty good, man.
Done. Jesus.
Yeah, wow. Your dice really like you today, dude. Yeah, I would say easy enough. You have to go a little bit out of your way toward a deeper recess. And Shady Creek Run is not a place that really deals in jewelry, as it were. The Mardoons don't really distribute here. Most of their gem trade happens further south, where the economy is not so shit and the people are not so poor and criminally. But you
crap.
do, in fact, find, I would say, one of their drop-off points, one of their sort of transportation hubs where such goods do pass through on the regular. It is a business front. I would say you hear through word of mouth and just through general conversations with some folks around, some poking about, some detective work, that this is in fact a front for one of the Mardoon's transportation hubs. Like there's sort of their smuggling nexuses, basically. But it is a front with a general store up the front and a few kind of really low quality, mostly just there for appearances type goods. But you know what you're facing, and you know what's there, and there are two guards at the front. Inordinately well armed for such a place like this, but there they are. One has a flintlock pistol strapped to his side, another a battle axe. Inside, there's even more guards. The shopkeeper at the front, a human girl, about 19 years old, pretty face, reddish auburn hair. Looking up at you as you enter, a bored, disinterested look. She says, "Well, what can I get for you?"
I'll just take the Mardoon badge out and I'll put it on the table. And I'll be like, it's from the top. I need some gems. Need to convert it into liquid. Need to start hiring out mercs to find the bastards that burn the brand down.
Make a deception check.
Please. Ah.
That's not too bad, dude. That's not too bad. Alright. I'm gonna have her roll insight. You want a low number. Okay. Alright. I would say she would have a positive modifier, having done work for this place and in this kind of shady line of business, but even so, a nat roll of 11 would not be enough to beat you. Her posture straightens out immediately, going on her back, going almost ramrod straight as she looks up and meets your eyes and gives a nod, looking to left and right. And she says, yes, I can do that. And she goes into the back room, and she eventually comes back out with a small lockbox, an iron lockbox, places it on the table. It's about, I suppose if you're looking to liquidate, it would be about 500 gold when all is said and done. Will this be enough?
Do we have more?
Yes, but the rest is spoken for. I have their own orders for them. This is just a standing reserve. The rest has its own places to go, and I'm not sure. Who are you again?
Look,
What's
I
your-
think that'll do fine. Let's just take this. We can deal with this. Thank you very much for your time.
Sorry, I'm just extremely zealous in my work. My name is Don Quixote Mardoon. I'll just take the lockbox and go.
Okay. 120.
Oh no! Shit,
Oh,
that's
that's-
Mardoon.
It's a 3.
Yeah, that works.
It's a 3. No, she puzzles over this for a little while, looking up at you with like furrowed eyebrows, and then shakes her head. Not my business. And on you go with this iron lockbox in your hand, heavy in your hands,
Run.
probably about deceptively heavy. It's not a huge lockbox, probably only about the size of like the span of 2 fists, of 2 open hands. But it probably weighs close to like 25 pounds.
Right, let's go.
But you have these gems in hands, and you can add either one of you. I suppose Zale would be the one holding it, but whoever wants, about 500 gold worth of gems.
Above table, I need another 1,000 gold, like 900, if I want to get plate mail.
Wait, how much money do you have on you at the moment?
I have 480 gold. With this 500, I'll have 980 and plates 18.
Anyway, I
1800
I know of some dead druid who's 200 gold on her. Maybe you can go check that.
Now.
Unfortunately,
All right.
I'm not very liquid at the moment, so...
We will circle back. It's yours. You have just finished leading your army of hobos and peasants on their way back to the manor, chanting glorious hymns behind you. But the 18 you rolled in religion, I would say you actually got a good few of them in a genuine religious fervor. Quite inspired by your prayers and uttering praises to Lathander as you arrive at around, I would say, like 10:30 in the morning, coming up the road, the gates of the manor in sight now.
Just in time for second breakfasts.
Mm-hmm. All right. Any particular plans, or are you just marching through the front door?
I'll march them through to. Is there a bath or a washroom or?
I would actually say, yeah, you are in a pretty upscale part of town. I would say there is indeed like a public bathhouse kind of installation, business that sort of caters to people who need to present themselves to the various families around here. Um, are you looking to get them all washed up and such?
Yes, and maybe baptize them.
Okay, I would say it's 5 silver per person, so 5 gold in total to get all your hobos washed up and
Okay.
presentable.
Okay. A
All right.
small price to pay for eternal glory.
Yep. Yep. And you spend if you want to take the bath with them. These people are not accustomed to having much in the way of shame or dignity. Most of them just sort of plunge immediately into like the public bath area. They don't even bother with the showers beforehand or anything. Just jump into the waters, and immediately clouds of black dirt and debris rise up around them and
Yeah.
cloud and contaminate the water. A few patrons already in the area. These upscale types. One a drow woman with silver hair and grayish skin, and the other a human male with a refined, distinguished beard with like almost a point coming to a point under his chin. They immediately recoil back from your horde of soon to be washed but still unwashed peasants, and immediately get up and mutter under themselves like, "What the fuck is this place coming to?" And so distasteful. And you have the bath to yourselves, you and your 10 peasants, as you wash and wash and wash. It takes a long time to get them clean.
Can I attempt to baptize them as well?
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Make me another religion check with advantage. Let's see how well you do this.
Not good.
You have advantage. One more roll.
Slightly
14.
better.
That's decent enough, I guess. Yeah. Not quite the. Well, it's a 14, and they're uneducated peasants, and you're offering them food and water and more kindness than anyone's ever shown them before, certainly. I would say, genuinely, some of them, as they emerge out of the end of your rites, their faces clean and washed for the first time, you anointing them with holy water, sprinkling it over top the. I would say if you have a vial of holy water with you, reduce it now. Otherwise, reduce like 5 gold to buy it. But you go ahead and person to person and dab them with holy water and sprinkle them and proclaim them reborn with a new soul, ready to face Lathander's light as glorious servants and beloved children under his wondrous name. They arise from the water dripping, wet, and utterly naked, like children born anew to this world, bright-eyed and ready, and utterly zealous to your cause. At least some of them. Some of them are still just in it for the free food.
Oh yeah. Would it have been possible to get their clothes up?
You certainly gold. Looks at your single copper coin, looks at the peasants behind you, and just shakes her head with eminent disgust. She doesn't even take it.
Put it in the charity box, sure.
There is no charity box here. It is a place that caters to criminals.
Oh, that wouldn't last too long then, would it?
Nope. But yeah, you certainly have done your good deed in getting them cleaned up and presentable for the manor. Is that your next destination?
Yes, we shall go to the manor now for brunch.
Okay. All right. You march your horde of peasants up the road. Not looking quite so peasantish now. Their clothes are indeed clean, though still threadbare, and several of them lack shoes, so their feet get dirty again as they walk up the road. But you make your way there, and you approach the gate, and the 2 guards there posted, one with a spear, the other with a sword and shield, look at you. They recognize you. They do not recognize the 10 peasants trailing behind you. One of them gives a glance up in the corner of his eye. Make a perception check if you like. 23. Yeah, quite good. He is glancing up in the corner, and you follow his vision, and you see he is looking to one of the watchtowers posted behind and above the wall, and you see the guy up there is switching out his flintlock rifle for a wide-bore musket. But not musket, blunderbuss. Sorry. But he He's not actually aiming to fire just yet. The man with the spear gives a look at you and your assembled peasants and says, "Little gnome, what exactly are you doing here? What is your business bringing all these about?"
We are guests of, I can't remember the person's name. Insert name here.
That would be Lord Darko Trebane.
We are guests of Lord Darko Trevane, and in the spirit of Lathandar, I thought I would extend his gracious benevolence to these fine folk.
Little gnome, you are a guest of Lord Darko Trebane. These unwashed so-and-sos are not. I don't know what possessed you to do this, but you can't bring them here. I'm sure you know this.
I was unaware, in fact. Several other members of my party have brought back ne'er-do-wells and people in far worse appearance than these fine people before us.
He screws up his eyebrows. This guy's just a middleman. He's just doing his 9 to 5. He just wants to go home and have a drink and maybe hit his wife a bit because she's a fucking bitch and she doesn't clean or cook properly ever.
Jesus Christ.
Go ahead and make a persuasion check.
You're okay, Verb?
Look, that Syrian girl ain't treating me right. That's all I'm saying.
Which one?
Make it with 5. No, we're gonna stick with the 5. The guard does not look very. He says, "Give me just a moment, all right?" And he goes behind opens up the gate and leaves you there and does not admit you entrance. The other guard with the sword and shield just looks at you, glowering. You look up and you see the guy in the watchtower still with his wide-bore blunderbuss, sort of leaning up against the railing, ready to aim and fire and rain grape shot down on your assembled not filthy, very clean mass.
Can I talk to the guard that still remains about Lathandar and his glory?
Yeah, you sure can. Make a religion check. 14. I'm gonna roll for him. You want a low number here. 14. Shit.
Roll
I would
again?
say you pass. Yeah, I mean, we'll go with it.
Another convert.
He's a hard sell. He is a hard sell. This 32-year-old human man with a scruffy, stubbly beard, nevertheless well trimmed and well kept. A man of discipline and rigidity, and adhering to whatever honor he can have left in this place. Are you attacking him?
No, I was trying to see what the spell. I was wondering
Okay.
what the spell was because it sounded like it might help, but it definitely didn't.
Yeah, no, it would not.
Have you heard about Lord and Savior fucking hits the guy in the head with the Bible?
Burns his soul from the inside out. This man is a hard sell indeed. He is not one to give in to new doctrines, but Ish, you are riding on a wave of glorious new religion and fervor, and the light of Lathander guides you and fills your eyes and determines your words as you speak to him this day, and gradually his eyes lighten up and he begins to nod along in turn with what you're saying. He says, yeah, certainly, I do want to save my soul. I do. And how could I have ever been so blind? I mean, there is more to life than just this one life. When I die, I will go to someplace else, and I want to live forever in his love and embrace. Yes.
Can I cast Continual Flame on my head to create a sort of halo effect?
That's badass. You certainly can. Let me look over the details of that spell real quick. Continual Flame. Components: rupee dust worth 50 gold pieces, which the spell consumes. So if you deduct that cost from your inventory, I suppose that's fine.
Okay.
A flame equivalent in brightness to a torch springs forth from an object that you touch. The effect looks like a regular flame, but it creates no heat and doesn't use oxygen. Continual Flame can be covered or hidden, but not smothered or quenched. Yeah, and you can dispel this, but otherwise it lasts forever. So there is indeed a burning, glowing halo, like a crown around your head as you finish speaking. And the guard with the sword and shield looks at this and immediately drops to his knees and says, "The prophet! The prophet!"
Oh boy.
Oh, please. Embrace
Da-
it.
Da- Dave's gonna regret missing this
Yeah.
one.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so he's just prostrate at your feet right now.
Rise, my child. Rise in the glory of the thunder.
He
Uh,
does with slow, reverent motion.
Knowing what you now know, would you really turn your brothers and sisters, and I gesture towards the peasants, away from the gracious host of insert name here?
Lord Darko Trebane. I would say the next time you don't remember, Ish himself does not remember, and we will play with whatever consequences come through from that. But yes, the guard gives a nod, and he says, "No, of course not. They are my brothers and sisters. We are all family under the arms of our father, Lord Lathander. How could I ever spite my own family? Yes, of course, I will open the way for you, my prophet." And he opens the gate.
Thank you, my child, and I do a little blessing symbol,
All right.
and I gesture to the peasants to follow me while singing hymns in glory to Lathander.
The guard at the watchtower with his wide bore blunderbuss, close enough to hear this entire exchange, has a look of utter bewilderment on his face. He doesn't quite know what to do. He doesn't raise his gun or anything. He just watches you go, and the sound of your hymns fills the entire courtyard as you walk around this grand circular path around the great big fountain in the center of the room. And this fountain with the carved woman holding an orb in her hand, spewing down water, glorious and radiant. And indeed, this does seem like a holy place as you fill it with the sounds of your chants. And people all around you stop what they are doing and just stare slack-jawed at whatever the fuck is going on. You get to the front door of the mansion, and it opens just before you put your hand out, and that same guard who turned you away earlier with his spear is coming back out the door, and entourage behind him, a group of about like 5 other guards with weapons of their own, and he recoils as he sees you and your peasants now inside the walls, looks at you, looks at them, looks at the guards behind him, and says, "What the fuck? I get out of here! You know what do you?" And
Oh,
you have your
uh,
glowing, flaming halo around your head.
I've got my glowing flaming halo. I said him, good sir, and I pull out the orb of laughter. I bid you to gaze into this orb and see your future.
Make a persuasion check for me. You're gonna want to roll pretty decently high on this one. That's perception. Roll again
Oh,
with
oh God.
persuasion.
Oh,
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna roll on my end. You want a low number. That's an 8. Okay. The guard is skeptical. The 5 guards behind him are skeptical. They cross their arms, but I would say all of them except for one do as you say, and they gaze at the orb. Their face is stern and unhappy, and the guy is muttering to himself the whole time like, "What the fuck? Just trying to do my job. What the hell is this shithole gonna get me into? I'm gonna get yelled at so fucking hard. They're gonna cut my wages and everything." And in the middle of that litany, he has stared just about at the 1 minute mark into this cheerful sky blue orb, and he and everyone except that one guard who chose not to stare all start laughing, full on belly laughing, clutching at their stomachs, falling to their knees, tears at their eyes, laughing and laughing and laughing. And you have this moment.
Yes, The rest of your life will be filled with joy and laughter. And I gesture to the peasants to continue on into the kitchen.
The one guard who did not stare into the orb looks fucking dumbstruck as this happens, and he watches you all go, and he raises up his hand like to stop you, but the peasants are already pushing through and pushing aside, and he looks at his commanding officer, who is now fallen on his knees, laughing and laughing, and he just doesn't know what the fuck to do, so he just paralyzed and freezes there as you continue on your way into the kitchen. Kieran, I would say at this point you definitely have got an inkling of what's going on. From your room, as you're whispering sweet nothings to your sweet black orb, you hear the sounds of laughter and holy hymns radiating through the whole place. Chants going and going and going.
Oh, perfect. I'm gonna peek my head out. Are there less guards at the area I was trying to get into?
There are, actually, and you can see that their eyes are all locked on whatever the fuck Ish is doing.
I'm gonna look at my orb and say, shall we try again, oh powerful one?
We shall try. We shall uncover all the secrets this world has to offer, my sweet Kieran.
I'm gonna go for it.
All right, make another stealth check. You already have advantage from your cloak. I would say make a perception check as well to augment that, to see how well you can pick out a path. I mean, 19's pretty fucking good. 24, yeah. Yeah, with the commotion that Ish is causing, and you have enough time as you're walking, creeping behind the guards to look over and see the gnome that you have known for a relatively short period of time, with a burning halo of glowing light around his head, marching with his head held high and his shoulders squared, this army of peasants behind him as they go toward the kitchen. And all the guards on the railing and the banister are just fucking staring. Some of them have their guns raised, but they don't actually know if they're supposed to shoot or not in this situation. Again, this is just their 9 to 5. They just want to get this shift done and go home and beat their wives. This is not how it's supposed to go. This is not a normal day. So they just let them pass, and you have your opportunities. You slip behind all of them, drop down from the railing directly to the second floor on silent feet, 3-point landing on the floor, and usher your way into the backlit halls, shadows and swallowing you as you move.
I'm gonna again speak to the orb and say, Orb, where do you think all the secrets most likely will be?
Oh, you're directly beseeching it. Make an investigation check and add a d10 to it.
Okay, let me roll the d10 here first.
Okay.
I enjoy how the old Kieran has just gone completely out of the window
Yeah.
immediately.
8. 8's pretty good.
Okay, so then with that we'll roll investigation.
19 for a total of 27 as the orb guides your way and eldritch whispers fill your mind. And immediately you know where to go, where the most powerful magic can be found, where their secrets lay deepest, buried within the bowels of this place. And you venture forward into the dark. Eventually, the lanterns on the walls go dimmer and dimmer and dimmer until you are all but blind marching through this place. But your feet are confident, your steps are sure, and you know the way. The orb is guiding you. How can it be wrong? And indeed, it is not. You pass by the chamber that Talir first showed you, that reinvigoration chamber that Zeo was brought to, that you all were shown when you asked for help in breaching the golden brand, but that's not what you're looking for. These are banal secrets. These are weak secrets compared to what you actually seek. And you go deeper and deeper and deeper, eventually until you come to this heavily fortified iron door with this mahogany reinforcing around it, a sturdy lock, and no windows or any such thing, no space under it to peek through, just this door, a simple handle, and a heavy lock.
Does that lock look pickable?
It sure does.
Let's do
You
that.
make 23. Are you using your
Knife,
new
yeah,
your new
the
dagger?
locksmith's needle. Yeah.
Okay, and I assume that automatically added your which is why
Yeah,
you have
I
a plus
equipped
11.
Plus 11.
That's pretty fucking sexy, dude. As you draw out this black stiletto dagger and holding it in your hand, and you lean down and you press it against the lock, and the steel immediately begins to melt like liquid, contouring or shaping itself to the contours of this lock as you slide it in like a hot knife through butter. and just twist it once, and you hear immediately all the tumblers click, and the lock opens. And the door, well, it doesn't swing open, it's too heavy for that, but you get the sense it is indeed unlocked now.
Can I try to open it?
You certainly can. You put your hands on it, and you push on it first, and it doesn't open that way, so you pull, and it does pull. It does pull open, and it swings open, and you see actually a rather small room. It's almost like a solitary confinement cell. Very small chamber, all stone, sheer stone on all sides. Although you don't have dark vision or anything, so it's pure dark to you. But
Could I light my hooded lantern instead?
yeah, you sure
Yeah.
can. At this, I'm gonna roll a d20. Just you want a low number? This is just to see if anyone's passing by or anything at this time. Ooh, it was almost on 17 too, but 3. Um, Indeed, you look behind you, then nope, no one's here. You light your lantern and you open it up, and you see across the sheer stone of this not rectangular but circular room, this almost like a hollowed out pillar. You see spiraling veins of bluish black crystal just running in strata through the stone, up and up and up in a spiral up toward a ceiling that is too high for you to see, even when you shine your light up. You know that the passageways have been leading down a ways, but you don't know how deep down. When you shine the light up, you see that this stone wall goes up very high. But these veins of crystal run up the walls in a spiral, and you see arcane glyphs carved in amongst them, glowing with the light that you cast over them. And you see a raised stone circle on the ground, also carved in with these runic glyphs in a circle at the rim.
Can I read those glyphs?
What languages can you read? You have a
Common,
lot.
Dwarvish, Elvish, Goblin, Halfling, and Thieves' Cant.
This is none of these. Go ahead and make an Arcana check. And
Can
if you want to tap the orb, you can. But because this would be the second time you're doing it, a thing would happen.
Okay, let me see first. No, never mind. It's fine.
That's acrobatics. I need you to roll again with Arcana.
What's the difference?
16's pretty good. Let's see. I would say it's not.
If I don't understand, then I'll tap into the orb. If I do, I won't.
It doesn't. The nature of this, especially since you are untrained in Arcana, it does not immediately jump out at you. No.
Then I'm going to tap into the newfound power I possess.
All right. First of all, make a Constitution saving throw as you hold the orb and press your hands against it, and its surge of eldritch power washes through you. Oh wow, that's really good. You do not gain a level of exhaustion. Now roll your d10. 7. Oh, I think that's pretty bad actually. Let me check. Let me check D&D Beyond. I'm pretty sure a 7 is a negative effect.
It is bad. I've got it up here. You suffer 7 points of psychic damage. Instead of adding this amount to your roll, subtract it instead.
Yep. So immediately, as you hold the orb and you beseech it for knowledge, you feel a surge of psychic backlash as pain rocks through your skull, and the orb chastises you, says, "Lovely, sweet Kieran, do not take me for granted. My knowledge is not some strumpet's tool to be used as you please. I am a thing of dignity and grace. You must ask me. You must beg for my knowledge." As your head is filled with this rebuke and you feel pain, and whatever understanding you were starting to come to over these runes is lost beneath that wash of, well, deep pain.
I'm gonna hold the orb up like in disbelief, like this. The Great One, you forsake me.
You have displeased me this day, but you may earn my favor back in time.
Okay, is there anything else to this room, or is it specifically just the veins with the runic glyphs?
It's pretty much just that. You don't understand the nature of this, but I would say with a 16 before the roll happened, it would be enough to know that whatever's going to happen will happen as soon as you step on that circle.
I'm gonna step on the circle.
Okay. Okay. Let me change the music over real quick.
Oh God.
We're going deep, boys.
And that was how Kieran got his backup character.
This is all just an elaborate plot between me and Verbosity. Okay, so we're gonna do this, and this is gonna happen. I'm gonna fail that roll, and
All right.
then a draft came out. I don't know.
All right. Immediately, as one of your little halfling feet steps over the threshold of this runic carved circle, the runes begin to glow. One by one, starting from where your foot first crosses the threshold, the runes light up. These arcane glyphs and symbols you can't read, letters in a language you do not understand, one by one, spreading out. Like the lights of a city, as all the lights turn on one by one as night falls, the lights spread out and eventually glow over the entire circle. As you step and press your second foot over into the threshold, the glow is bright blue. The searing, burning light, so bright that when you look directly down at it, you have to look away, and when you look up into the ceiling, there's a sunspot burned into your vision. And the light washes over you, casting your skin with this sickly blue color. Immediately, you feel something, a sensation wash over you, like hands running over your skin, through your clothes. A wave of goosebumps breaks out across your back and neck. Your skin tightens. I need you to make a wisdom saving throw. 22. You lucky son of a bitch. This is one of the Trebane's enhancement chambers. You did not get the chance to see it much with Talir, as you did not drag him too far into battle, and you have not done battle with any of the Trebane's arcanists, formidable foes that they are, but they are more than just mere spellcasters, more than just wizards. Magic imbues their body, their flesh. They have several disciplines that they study in, and that they enhance their bodies to better accommodate. You do not know which of the disciplines this circle belongs to, but as it takes hold of your mind and drives your body, your soul into submission, demanding that you kneel and accept whatever it is doing to you, and indeed, with your wisdom save, it is enough to recognize that there is no fighting this. You either accept it or you die. You do accept, and a power washes over you. I need you to make a Constitution saving throw now. 7. / roll 5d10. You suffer 28 points of psychic damage as your body is racked with immense agony, starting at your mind and then down to the rest of you, ripping through you. You feel your tissues bursting, ripping apart almost at the seams, like your body is being forcibly wrenched apart and widened to accommodate whatever force is searching through you. But you're not dropped to 0 hit points by this, which makes all the difference. As you fall to your knees on this circle, hands falling over one of the glyphs, and the light immediately is so bright that it shoots through your hand, and you can see the shape of the glyph burning through the skin of the back of your hand. But the power washes through you. A long, long time passes. But I would say, since you're not dropped to 0 hit points, since you succeeded your wisdom saving throw, that your body eventually accepts whatever it is this rune has done to you. A new power begins to swirl within you. You do not yet understand the nature of this power, but you sense within your body as these runes wink out and the light dies away, and you are eventually left in darkness once more, your hooded lantern forgotten behind you, and you stand there in complete, total blackness. Blacker still, after the radiant light fades and your eyes have to adjust. That there is now a wellspring of power within you, a new reserve of arcane energy that you can perhaps call upon once you've given yourself time to meditate on these abilities and learn what the fuck they actually are.
Nice.
Cool.
You also suffer a level of exhaustion for failing that Constitution saving throw.
Just for. Okay, hold on. How do I add that in?
In
Uh,
Go ahead and just make a note in your character sheet or write it down or something. I will go over with you later.
Okay, sure.
Either in the notes section or yeah, the notes section will do, like in the other category.
Okay. I'm gonna. I assume that door is still open. Yeah.
On
I'm gonna
D&D Beyond,
take.
it's in conditions, isn't it? Yeah.
Are you looking for exhaustion?
Yeah.
Or
Exhaustion.
yeah, exhaustion would be there. I was assuming you were talking about the wibbly wobbly power. Exhaustion. Let's see, it would be in conditions.
It's
wouldn't it?
next to defenses. So if you click on conditions, it pops up with an active conditions list, and down the bottom is exhaustion.
Where are you seeing this, sorry?
On D&D Beyond.
Yeah, but where in D&D Beyond?
So you see next to your armor
under-
class, to the right of it,
Yep.
you've got defenses.
And under your hit
conditions.
points, you see conditions on the right side.
Ah, okay. Here we go. I
So
see.
just go ahead and take a level of exhaustion.
Level 1 exhaustion. All right.
Perfect.
Okay. Yeah. Completely just fucking destroyed. I'm gonna take a seat in the corner and try to just drift off, I guess.
Falling asleep.
Or maybe try not to fall asleep, but just chill there for a minute, and then
Okay.
once I've recovered, I'm gonna just go back to bed.
Okay, perfect.
That's
We're
my
going
day.
to we're gonna leave you there for the time being then, as you slump down against the wall, in the dark, breathing heavily, pain still lingering in your body, your muscles feeling tender, sore, and you look in what little light you have to see by. You look and you see blood spots have burst all across your flesh as veins have apparently ruptured. But you're alive, and you imagine your body will probably heal, probably.
I'm also gonna cast level 1 Cure Wounds on myself.
Sure. And that helps a great deal, actually. As some of those blood spots immediately heal away and your body begins to feel quite a bit better. Let us circle back. Morris and Zale, you've just finished your escapades at the jewelry store. I assume at this point you would be returning to the mansion.
Indeed.
I would say just in time to see Ish leading his entourage of peasants through the gate. The burning halo around his head of fire, and the one guard watching them go with a reverent look in his eyes. Hands clasped together in prayer, his sword and shield dropped to the ground beside him. The one other guards at the watchtowers watching with fucking wide eyes and mouths dropped wide open.
We're gonna look around in absolute
What the
confusion as well.
fuck?
Yeah, what the fuck? Gonna go out to the guard that's praying. What the hell happened?
You go to the guard that's praying. Okay, yep. This the human man looks up at you, his eyes wide with the light of Lathander, and he says, "Glory, glory has happened. The prophet has come. He has blessed us with his presence, and he has shown me the error of my ways.
Who's
I am reborn again. My soul will live forever in his arms."
sorry, the prophet? Who's the prophet?
Are we under attack?
Who's the prophet?
Yeah. Where do I start swinging?
The only thing that is under attack here is the sinful ways of the old.
Who's this prophet? Sorry.
He turns and looks reverentially, and you see Ishmine holding up the cheerful sky blue orb toward toward a group of guards. You can just barely see them across the courtyard, but you do see Ish. It's hard to miss with the burning halo around his head. And then you see the guards fall into laughter, and and Ish continues on his way into the mansion. His peasants behind him chanting their glorious religious hymns.
You can't
All for the love of God.
can't leave him alone for a day, can you?
No.
Okay. I'm just gonna follow in and watch the chaos unfold, I suppose.
Okay, gotcha. Anything from you, Zale, or just the same?
I'm just gonna be like, Ish, what are you doing?
You say to yourself as you march across the courtyard to join them. Is yours? Well, let us circle back to you, my friend, as you have barreled your way past the guards, still laughing behind you. They will be that way for 10 minutes as you continue on toward the kitchen.
Zeal, my companion. We are on our way to have a small meal, thanks to thanks to
Lord.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
hold on. Hold on. It's written down somewhere.
Ish stammers for a while, trying to think of a name, trying to remember
Lord
the host of this place.
Darko Trevane.
And finally, he gets it. And thankfully, you are not speaking to Lord Darko Trevane himself or anyone like that.
Whilst I'm not against your proclivities to help the helpless, do you think it wise to invite the homeless into the man that's sheltering us from certain death on the streets and exhaust the goodwill before we set out on an adventure where we will undoubtedly need his help?
I thought it would be fine, considering you brought back all the slaves, and what could generate more goodwill than doing Lathander's work?
On a technicality, I brought back a corpse.
Yeah.
Well, you don't
Oh,
have to feed a
fucking damn it.
corpse.
Yeah, I didn't throw the corpse in the kitchen while bewitching the guard with my balls.
I want to reword that.
Phrasing.
Yeah.
I said what I said.
We haven't got to the kitchen yet. Do you want to see my ball?
No.
I do not want to see your ball. You and your brother have horrendous balls.
So stupid.
It's just this will get us in trouble, and we need the help of the house. If you really want to feed them, take them somewhere else, and we can pay for them to be fed.
Your charity knows no bounds, my brother. You heard the man. Food and drinks on him. Huzzah!
The peasants, having some of them wide-eyed and dumbstruck at the surroundings of this place, at this lavish furnishings and the elite filigree and all such things of its of everything really, look around and they turn and they look at Zale and they say, "We're not eating here, but the food has to be so good. We want to eat here."
Well, unfortunately, the success of everything we do relies on the people in this house not turning us away because we're inviting people off the streets in. While I don't begrudge you your need to eat, we kind of need you to be somewhere else right now. And I'm just going to hand... can I look and see who the most, like, shaky and nervous out of the homeless is?
Yeah, I mean, not. I wouldn't
Just
say
one
it's the
random
roll.
guy. This is for flavour.
Yeah,
I'm
not a
gonna
roll required. Sure.
I'm going to hand him 10 gold, and I'm just going to be like, he's in charge of where you're eating. Now go.
No, that's not enough.
And
There
this
it
is why
is.
you don't have plate
10
mail
gold
yet.
is loads.
No, will 10 gold pay for us in the most finest dining establishment in
Oh,
this town?
certainly not. Not 10 gold. 10 gold would be enough to keep you all fed and watered at a pretty decent upscale tavern, but of the quality of the Trebane Manor like they could provide here, not even close.
Come on, Zale, you said you'd pay. Come on.
Immediately as you hand the 10 gold to this one guy, all of the other homeless look at that sum of gleaming coin in his hands, more money than any of them have ever seen in probably their entire lives, and their eyes alight with greed, almost seeming to drown out the religious light that Ish has managed to instill in them. You see several of them, one of them clenching his fists and inching toward him, several others looking almost hungry at the coin.
Look at what you've done,
Now
Zale.
you can listen to me.
Share.
You can take the 10 gold and go eat anywhere else in this fine cesspool of a city, or you can march towards the kitchen and undoubtedly be horrifically murdered by the guards as they don't know who you are.
The guards have... Okay. No, go ahead.
Make a persuasion check, Zale.
Can I do
Against-
intimidation? Because I am telling them they're going to be killed if they go to the kitchen.
I'm gonna say persuasion because it
All
doesn't.
right,
Your tone of
all right.
voice is not implying intimidation.
God damn it.
9. Thus far, Ish Yours has managed to inspire a religious fervor in these disheveled, disparate men and women, on the likes that has rarely ever, if ever at all, been seen before in Shady Creek Run, and So far, Ish has not led them wrong. He has led them to the manor of the Trebane household, one of the foremost crime families in all of Shady Creek Run. He has gotten them through the gates, gotten them through the front door, and they are but a stone's throw away from the kitchen, where men 1,000 times richer than them have dined and drank the finest wines and eaten the finest foods, and they look at your 10 gold and they hear what you were saying, and they are not about to be denied that which has been denied from them their whole lives. And the one with the 10 gold looks down at it, looks with some difficulty back up at Ish, and he says, I want to eat here.
I'm just going to look at Moorish and be like, we need to de-escalate or this will put us in very bad stead with the house.
Then pay the man.
God fucking damn it.
You said.
I'll toss him another 20.
Another 20.
And then
that
I'll
enough?
add on another 20 on top of that.
50 gold, okay, I'd say 50 gold is about enough to get them to the level of opulence with which they have been promised. As you pile up, are you piling it all on this one man, or are you...
Spread it out.
I am.
Okay,
I gave
so-
the other 20 to the guy with 10.
I'm gonna
So,
give 5
okay.
gold to 4 of them.
5 gold to 4 of them, interesting. And Zale gives a total of 30 to the one man. This...
Inciting chaos.
Yeah.
Slash roll
can
1
I
d 20.
say to the guy that has the 30
Oh
gold,
boy.
brother,
Go ahead.
this is a test of your faith. The Thunder asks that we all share with those who have less than us. As we've all done this journey together, Lathander, I'm sure, would appreciate if you were to share your great boon with the less fortunate, and we can all then have a feast the likes of which you've never imagined at some fancy name.
The Golden
Medieval
Frank is there,
Taco
let's
Bell.
go.
Sure. Ish, go ahead and make a religion check for me. The higher you roll, the lower his save will be. He's gonna make a wisdom save to resist the greed. You need to roll high on Okay.
What
I'm
was
gonna
that
call-
nat 20 for, Verb?
You'll see.
Well, how many
You'll
Syrian
see.
women he finds?
20. Yep. Okay. So I'm gonna call his wisdom save DC 15. Oh wow, you lucky son of a bitch. Your words, Ish, are in this moment. They are not as inspiring as they could be, but the momentum that has led you and all them here, the fact that you have washed and baptized them and born them anew, and this man in particular is one of the devotaries, one of the most downtrodden and most lost souls of them all. And he thinks about this temptation, and he thinks, yes, you're right. Lathander tests us for a reason. He puts challenges in our way so that we can overcome them and arise stronger than ever before. I will not give in to the greed of this gold. I will give to those who deserve it. And he goes from person to person, and he begins to spread out the gold bit by bit by bit until everyone is left with the same sum of 5 gold pieces. And he says, now we shall eat. We shall eat and dine and live like men for the first times in our lives in the arms of the Almighty.
Well
And-
done, my child. And I shoot Zeal the most dirtiest look possible.
All right.
I wink.
A little sexual tension brewing, I see.
Sigma male attitude.
And we lead, or I lead, because fuck Zeal, the peasants out towards the upper class district, to the nearest restaurant.
Okay, indeed. Pretty much leaving as quickly as you came, barreling through the front gate, barreling through the front door. The guards are still laughing up a storm. You hear their laughter behind you as you leave out through the place. And the guard at the gate, the one with the sword and shield, sees you turning to leave, and he says, "My prophet, let me follow you. Let me join you in your glorious repast." And he follows you as well. And before too long, a crowd has assembled out behind, several guards leaving their posts to walk out onto the road. Some leaning on their spears, some just looking and watching as your entourage fades into the distance, walking down the horizon until they are lost. The last glow of your flaming halo around your head vanishing around the bend. And everyone is left with a collective mood of, what the fuck just happened? Because that all took like 10 minutes in total. There and then gone.
Should we get some food?
All right.
Yes.
At this point, I'm gonna call a 5-minute break while we all decompress. So let us come back at like I don't know, like 43 of, and okay, yeah, I need to take a piss and refresh my drink. I'll be right back.
Above table, I'm completely for cut shenanigans, but I was worried about the fucking ramifications it would have in the narrative.
Well, just let Kutch take the ramifications.
There are no ramifications. Everything always works out. It's fine.
Lord fucking emo Trebane comes down. What is this? It's him. We nothing to do with it. It's all him.
Do you know he would have absolutely been like, we will feed them and then slap them in the tubes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I find it so funny. It's like, yeah, I need money for plate mail, or so I'm gonna give like 150 away because I can.
I'm just a coin flip of a character. I'm gonna be dead in 5 years. I can't take it with me.
You can take it to the grave.
I've got turbo elf cancer.
Have you been
It's
officially
okay.
diagnosed yet?
I have.
Is it a self-diagnose? Don't listen to fantasy Google.
Yeah.
They're not always right.
I'm pretty sure the hour of some dude draining my life force and then thrusting into the chest of a dead person. I'd say that's fairly solid.
He's a wood elf. They're kind of high on their own spice. You know what I mean?
This is where Talia comes up to me as we're leaving and be like, I actually fucked up the ritual and you're going to live forever.
I actually took the remains of her soul and gave it to you. Whoopsie daisy. You're now
a druid.
If you turn into a bear randomly one day, you know why.
Don't worry about it.
Should be right.
Talia!
It's just roar.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing. I just charge into combat and change into a bear. Like, what?
That'd be great.
A paladin bear smiting all over the place.
So what's
Actually,
next?
I don't know if you can cast spells in wild form.
You
I
can't.
could be
I
wrong.
think there must be a trait or something you can take where you can do stuff in wild shape.
Not that I know of.
I've
Then
never
again, I'm
looked,
not-
I've never looked at the druid skill trees.
Yeah, then again, I'm also not. I haven't done a lot of testing with druids.
What
I
are
mean,
we doing next? Do we know what the?
Grabbing our shit and going to Serpon, I guess.
Is there anyone else we
fun.
want to recruit? Do we want to see if Roland is still in town?
Well, Roland rescued
right.
Thingy and then fucked off, didn't he?
Well, he
that
might
was
have
somewhere
met-
else.
Well, he's going back to the Rexcentrum, right?
Is that what he
Yeah,
said?
yeah.
Wrexham Trust,
He
is
left
okay.
town like
Okay, fine. I
immediately.
didn't know if he'd gone straight away or not. I couldn't remember and I didn't write it down. So.
Damsel in distress, princess something or other.
Yeah, I know I
knight in
remember he
shining
rescued the
armor.
princess, but I couldn't remember it was from Wrexham Trim or anything like that.
Also, we're on the clock against Aiden finishing the circle to do the teleport, so we
Yeah.
kind of need to go.
Well, it's obviously going to be
I-
the same day. We're going to have to go tomorrow anyway, aren't we? Like, unless it's still early enough to head out. But
It depends what time Verb says it is.
does,
I'm just going to get a drink quickly.
did we know if Dave wanted to do anything?
I think I can't remember exactly what he said, but he said his character's religious views would disagree. Would
That
have
was
him
with bringing
disagree.
Zamara back to life.
And
yeah.
that was only for what I did,
Oh,
which was
okay.
5
Yeah,
minutes.
yeah.
And Verb's just in the driver's seat for Kato for tonight.
Okay.
Dave will probably watch a stream.
Yeah. In that case, I don't really know if we want to do anything too extravagant with him not here.
Yeah, no, of course. That's what I mean. I don't, like. I wouldn't
Especially seeing as I might have contracted Turbo Wizard something or other.
Yeah, something. Excited to see where that goes.
We'll see how that goes.
Mm.
Yeah. So above table, I'm just gonna like fucking tell you. So I had a chat with Verve. I'm like, yeah, look, I'm just gonna kind of see where this orb thing goes. It could be funny.
Yeah, I mean, I gathered that's
so
what
far,
happened.
Not disappointed.
No,
So far, you've contracted wizard syphilis.
yeah, something.
It's gonna lead to me sneezing a fireball or something. We'll see.
Yeah. You're gonna shoot an arrow and it's gonna change into a disintegrate spell.
Definitely gonna get like access to. You're gonna get access to like sorcerer spells or something. Like you're gonna get a feat, which is like the sorcerer.
Or verb's gonna force you to multi-class.
What's the feat you can
I
get?
already have multi-classed, so it's gonna be like rogue, ranger, and then whatever else he might want to
Initiate, that's
do.
it. Magic initiate. You might get something like that, like where you get access to the
Oh, yeah.
cantrips or something.
But like, that would have to be integrated. I'd have to be homebrewed to be integrated with the bow. Otherwise, it's just never gonna be able to use it.
Yeah, you'd need some sort of focus. Well, you could get a Bloodwell vial and wear it. something
Yeah.
like that. You
Or
could
he
get
might homebrew something.
Yeah,
He's been homebrewing a lot of this shit.
yeah. Well, Kutcher's shield is homebrewed, isn't it?
Mm.
It's,
Wasn't
All of our magic items was homebrewed. Everything's
the
homebrewed.
Spellblade's Gauntlet isn't, I don't believe.
Yeah,
So-
no,
so
it
like
is.
most
Just about
of it
everything is homebrewed. Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
I've used a few vanilla items, but for the most part, I really like all the enemies you guys are fighting. Like with the exception of like a few generics, it's all homebrewed.
Nice.
Just because I find it funner that way.
I thought Quintus Mardoon was just a random vanilla bad guy.
Oh, certainly. Yep, he's right on page 42 of the
I
player's
thought
handbook.
yeah, he was on page like 4269 of Villain Handbook or something, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Paragraph
Alright.
6, all of that.
Paragraph 6, chapter 9.
Yeah, that's the one.
Of course.
Come on, guys.
Wasn't
keep
Lord
up.
Trebayne going to give us access to the artifacts, or give us one each when we started going after Aiden? I remember that from the initial meeting. There was something said about it.
Yeah, he basically said that there were artifacts to be given if you were to act in his service. Like
Okay.
if there was a job you did for him. They certainly do have their own share of artifacts and magical resources, as Kieran has
Have-
found out.
Have we actually done anything for him? I know we went after the Mardoons, but that was like our own thing.
Yeah, not really so far. So far, he's just kind of sheltered you because he's kind of interested to see what you do and thinks that you all have are chaotic forces that could introduce some kind of element to this society, and he's kind of interested to see where that goes. But you haven't really done anything to directly help him so far, no.
Yeah.
Jokes on
well,
him, I found his wizard shit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, he wants us to use us to secure passage to the
So
thingy.
why don't we tell him
So-
about the
Yeah.
teleportation circle and see if he can help us go for it? That should be the
All right,
next
so we
set up a
go
meeting.
meet Darko Trebayne. We tell him like this is what the teleportation circle. He's sending an army through. We need to go.
Sooner
Can
rather
we get
than
those
later.
artifacts, please?
Or help in any manpower as well, potentially, if they can. But if not,
Obviously, you're sending Talia with us. That's okay.
Obviously.
I'd like
Um,
for Talia to come with us. That'd be cool.
If not, I will still be making Talia checks every now and again.
Of course. Roll
One
for
day you'll
Talia.
get a nat 20. And Verb's like, yeah, he just pops out the trees.
Yeah.
Hello.
All right. Let me go ahead and add. I'm just gonna add into one corner of the map the guys that you've managed to recruit so far. Let's see. I would say we can pick back up right where you guys are left off. So if there's anything you want to do or think to do, just let me know, and I will continue to do this work in the background.
I'd like to speak to Talia about setting up
yeah.
a meeting with Lord Darko Trebayne.
Okay. Certainly can be done. Yeah, okay. I mean, it's not going to be hard. At this point, you have certainly stirred things up in the manor. Ish, you've left with your entourage of peasants, right?
Yes, we're off to Gordon Ramsay's famous restaurant.
There are
Still
actually quite a few
still
places
place
like that
steakhouse.
in Shady Creek Run.
Don't you mean
Place of
Gorgon Ramsay?
Gorgon
Uh,
Ramsay.
Gorgon
Demogorgon Ramsay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, boy.
certainly quite a few. Let's see. Yeah, sure, this will work. There are certainly quite a few places like that, and I would say it doesn't take you too long to find one of the restaurants that caters to the extremely well-to-do members of Shady Creek Run and its higher crust society. As you settle in for your meal, Zale and Morish, you go ahead and seek out Talir, who is not far at hand. You find him on the upper floor railing, sort of sandwiched in between two big tough guards, all of them still talking amongst themselves over what the fuck just happened, and like looking in and seeing the visible trail of dirt and debris where the peasants walked through in the carpet and the floor. And you look out the window and you see one of the guards has still left his post entirely, the spearman who has recovered from his laughter, standing out there solo for the time being. But you do see him there.
Talir, good day.
It is certainly a day. Don't know if it was good. What? Why did your friend bring a bunch of peasants into the mansion? This is not a. This is.
Honestly, we were asking the same question, to be perfectly frank. He has a mind of his own, that little gnome.
He's extremely charitable and doesn't understand social cues.
He
We
is
apologise.
and fervently religious.
I see. He sort of chuckles to himself. Perhaps the local chapel would have some use for him then. Did you wish to speak to me?
Yes, we'd like to speak to the Lord Darko Trebane about possibly helping him in his goals within the Savalier Wood. And
Also, we'd like to relay Aiden's plans and
Yes.
intentions
that too.
within the Savalier Wood, as we feel like they are pertinent to his interests.
Just for reference, D, his name is Adrian.
Oh, I keep saying Aiden. I'm really sorry.
No, that's fine, man. Just letting you know. Yeah, absolutely. The Talir sort of straightens up as the matter goes back to business, and he smooths out his expression. He says, yes, of course, this can be done. Your goal is to oppose him, yes? To stop him in whatever his plans may be?
Correct.
Indeed.
Then, perhaps, the Lord Trebane's interests and your own may not be so far disaligned. Now, I must ask you, is it just to stop him, or do you intend to press further on into the city afterward?
Well, that is the point that we are coming
Lord-
to the Lord with. If he wishes us to press on with his service, in
The Lord
return
expressed
for
an
aid,
interest in us. Oh, sorry.
yeah, in return for aiding us in our quest, then yes, we will push on. If he doesn't, then we will come back.
The Lord did express an interest in having us search the city for him on his own behalf. And we are not opposed to that, but first we have business with Adrian. Much greater business with Adrian, given his plans. And then we can resolve anything with the Lord afterwards.
He considers this for a long while, not saying anything for 5-10 seconds. The guards to either side of him have shuffled off, sensing the sensitive nature of this conversation, and you're left with a small bubble of privacy up here on the upper banister of the foyer here. Eventually he claps his hands together, sort of steepling his fingers, and gives a nod and says, yes, very well, this can be done. The Lord is occupied until later tonight, but I can set aside a time. Let us call it 7 in the evening or so, and he will be available to speak with you, especially on a matter such as this. And at the moment, I would say it is quite early in the morning still. I'd say like 11 o'clock.
Okay.
Did you wish to speak to him now?
No, I mean, no.
If he is occupied, then
Yeah,
it is-
if he's busy, I'm sure he has greater matters to attend to than us. So we will wait for him to be available.
Very well.
I do not wish to disturb the Lord, but we are on a clock, as to say.
Is it truly so sensitive? He is not a pleasant man when disturbed, but perhaps if the matter is grave enough.
Talia, what Adrian intends to do is form a magical teleportation circle to the island and
To the city.
teleport through a city island. Sorry.
It's alright.
And go forth and acquire and arm an army for the Empire using relics and artifacts from the city. I'd say it's very pressing.
He's already on his way to said teleportation circle as well to to bring it back to life.
He gives another nod, his face going a little pale, eyes widening as he processes over the implications of this, eyes darting to and fro. Kind of like that meme of the girl with the calculus symbols fading in and out of her head behind her as he considers all the angles. He says, "If I must be terribly honest, my lord is engaged in his regular rejuvenation rituals. He shall be available for some time afterward, but he will be weakened and irritable until sufficient time has passed that he may rest. This does sound urgent, however. I can bid him to speak with you.
On a personal level, would you suggest waiting for the Lord to recover?
If it is truly urgent, and it sounds as if it is, then perhaps time cannot be wasted. I just warn you that he will be in an perhaps more irritable mood than normal, is all."
And then we must beg and grovel.
He gives
You're not kobold.
gives a wan smile and a bit of a smirk and says, "Perhaps that would be for the best, yes."
Okay, well, let us know. Let's see what you can do.
Alright. His ritual will be finished shortly enough, as soon as the clock strikes 12, as it were. Perhaps an hour after that,
Okay.
he will be available.
Very well.
Sounds good. I will be
Alright.
in my quarters, I suppose. Room.
Alright. So, unless there's anything else you two would like to do, we can circle round.
Oh, good.
Zale?
No, I'm good. I'll just
Perfect.
go eat.
Alright, Kieran, as you are, I assume, returned to your room at this point to recover.
Yeah, I think at this point I would have snuck out of that door, closed the door, avoided as many guards as I could, and kind of come around as they finish their conversation with what's the wizard name?
Talir?
Talia, thank you.
Alright. Easy enough. Let's say no roll needed as you make your way back to your room. Now, who's got a growling dog?
Church.
What did you do to disturb it, you evil man?
She's in the heat and she keeps dropping her hunting teddy.
Oh dear.
Oh, so he's trying to seduce you.
Yeah, basically.
Okay. Yep, Kieran, you make your way back to your room, fall into your bed, your entire body exhausted and weak. The cure wounds has eased your pain a bit, but you're still aching and sore, and still contemplating on this surge of energy rushing through you, unsteady and tumultuous within you, like a sea at storm. Not yet ready to be used, but certainly there.
Yeah, I'd very much like to try to contemplate what this could be as well.
Okay. I'd say take a short rest and go ahead and make an Arcana check. If you want, you can tap the orb to enhance that.
No.
21's pretty good. Yeah, no, not at this point. You've probably had enough of orb-based shenanigans for one day. You spend some time to consider the nature of this power that the runes bestowed upon you. You close your eyes and you focus inward, and it's like meditation. I can't imagine from your backstory that you do much meditation, Kieran, but you may prove me wrong. It may be a new and foreign experience to you as you sit and contemplate on what you have, closing your eyes, regulating your breathing, focusing on the push and pull of air from nose to lungs, to the energy dwelling in the center of your chest as you center yourself. This is indeed some kind of new wellspring of power, and you're not one who's unaccustomed to magic. You have some reserve of your own as a ranger, able to tap into the ebb and flow of magical energy through nature itself. this is something inherent to you, a power that is bestowed into your body, and you imagine will eventually take root within your body and just become another part of you. Still too early to harness, but you imagine within the coming day or two, relatively soon, it will stabilize, and you will perhaps have a new set of magical energies to draw upon.
Okay.
But you don't know anything more specific than that. And I would say that takes you an hour to short rest, so you can go ahead and roll hit dice if you'd
Sure.
like. No need to otherwise.
The other thing I wanted to ask is how big is that orb that I have? Is it like the size of like a normal fuck, what's it like the fortune reader orb, or is it smaller?
It's big enough to, it shrinks down to accommodate your halfling size, so you can hold it comfortably. Excuse me, Dr. Pepper burps. It's big enough to hold it like comfortably in your palm. I'd say maybe like the size of a slightly big orange.
Okay. No worries.
All right. Anything else for you?
No, I think that's it.
Got it. It's yours. You have just arrived at this very large, very prestigious restaurant with built out of this marbled white stone, beautiful and glorious, almost like Roman architecture, with pillars up at the front and a wide open roof and a grand double door with crystalline glass and bright, cheery sandalwood doors. A pair of a man and a woman stand, what do you call them? Like attendants, like doormen, in finely tailored suits to address
Concierge?
guests. Yeah, that's about right. I'd say so. Standing there, at attention in their fine clothing to address guests coming in and out. And as you approach, still in your battle garb, and your peasants behind you, clean but still in threadbare clothing. Several of them barefoot. Several of them tattered and weary and weather worn. The two look to each other, share a nod, and then immediately bristle up and stand up straight, and they take 2 steps forward to apprehend your group, and one holds out a hand and says, Sir, I must say, you likely are not of the caliber to dine here tonight.
My child, I can assure you we are of the highest caliber, for we are blessed by Lathander.
He squints his eyes. I know nothing of this god you speak of. I am afraid I must ask you to leave.
If you have a few minutes, I can tell you all about him.
Make a religion check.
Hold on. Fuck.
The concierge, this elven man with black hair and a ponytail, a very refined ponytail, which he has sort of looped around the side or hanging over his shoulder, and squinting blue, piercing blue eyes and chiseled features like a male model. This man, very, very beautiful in face and stature, narrows his eyes at you, looks you up and down with your burning golden halo around your head and your horde of peasants behind you. And he shakes his head and says, I am afraid I must ask you to leave once again, sir. You will dirty this fine establishment with your rabble.
My child, we cannot force you to do the right thing. All I can say is that I pray you do, because otherwise you will suffer eternal torment in the afterlife.
I will take my chances, thank you very much. And he crosses his arms, and the way is barred, at least from the front.
Say if I was to cast Sacred Flame on him.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Would he
go on.
know it was me, or could I?
Let me see. Sacred Flame has components of verbal and somatic, meaning you have to do hand gestures and speak an arcane, incantation in order to cast a spell. I would say, given that you are a cleric, you could attempt to disguise it as some kind of religious, chant or hymn or something, but if you roll low, he would definitely know it's coming from you, and even if you rolled high, people would still see you doing this thing and then a man bursting into flames. But you can try.
Yes.
Alright, I'm gonna have you roll... Religion's fine. Let's do religion. Alright, you're still casting the spell, right? And that's okay, that's a dexterity saving throw, so go ahead and roll your damage, and I'll roll the dex save on his end.
I don't want to do full-on Sacred Flame, just a light warning Sacred Flame.
So you just want to singe him a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll still roll
Just
a dex save for him. I'll say he just has a flat
little
modifier.
second-degree burn. That's not too bad, right?
Yeah, okay. Okay. He definitely fails that save as 6. I mean, okay, are you attempting to do 6 damage, or are you just attempting to singe him? Because 6 damage would kill him.
Oh, fuck, Singe.
Okay, alright.
Maybe burn his little petticoat or whatever.
Okay, got it. Yep. As you fall to your knees at the head of this column of peasants behind you, holding your hands aloft and uttering this religious prayer to the divines, to Holy Lathander and his glorious almighty visage. The halo of flaming light on your head pulses, first bright orange with the light of flames, and then hotter and hotter, turning almost white hot. And the concierge, the butler with his finely tailored suits, looks at you unimpressed, and then suddenly his body takes on a white outline, and he continues to look unimpressed for just a moment, and then the heat intensifies, and his posture shifts, and he goes to pat at his hands, and he says, "Oh God, that's hot! That's hot! That's hot! That's hot! That's hot! That's hot!" And then the flames are gone, and the hairs on his forearms are burned away. His skin looks red, like baby pink and red and raw. And his clothes are indeed a bit singed, and his petticoats, once pristine white, are now charred and black. And he's, what did you do? Did you cast a spell on me?
I did nothing but beseech the divine blessing of Lathander. You have only yourself to blame for this. Are you really now fit for this establishment? You look a lot dirtier than my fellow brothers.
Make another religion check for me.
God damn it.
Your dice do not like you today.
No, they don't. They do not.
You've done pretty well so far. The guard.
I was not impressed with you, Coach.
Look at you, burning just mere workers going about their day. The butler, singed and in a bit of pain, looks to his female compatriot, and they share a nod, and they both run through the door. Excuse me again. Run through the doors of the establishment, and for a moment you are left alone. You can hear the sounds of their footsteps running. You get the sense they are probably calling for guards.
Come, my brothers and sisters, let us leave this place to seek sustenance elsewhere. Lathander obviously doesn't want us to lure ourselves to these base elves.
Okay, alright. I'm gonna have you make one last religion check to see if you can maintain the interest of the crowd at this point, because they've been denied twice now the feast with which he promised. And sure, they have their gold in hand, but at this point they might start to be getting a little bit antsy. So make your religion check, and we'll just go from there.
Better.
Ah, that's much better. Yeah. Okay. I would say it's yours. We'll take a wider view now. The camera sort of panning out and looking over the lot of you as you go. It's a while. The glorious repast of which you seek is not one that is readily open to men such as yours, still dressed in their threadbare clothing. But going from place to place, suffering rejection suffering persecution, admonition, and cruelties from many of the people who would deny kindness to their fellow brothers and sisters. You are like Jesus and his apostles, going from place to place, suffering the pain and agonies and torments of this world. But it only makes you and your brotherhood stronger. And by the end of the day, as you finally settle in to this not quite as glorious inn as you might have hoped, but a homely one and a comfortable one, run by this aged gnome with a puffy white beard and kind, cheery brown eyes, and his lovely wife beside him. And they settle in and they feed all of you. And when you go to offer them your gold, they shake their heads and say, "No, no, young one, you are doing such good. We could not possibly take your gold." And as you all sit to eat, you settle in with this gnomish couple, and you begin to tell them of Lathander and the light of his embrace. And well, by the day's end, you have sown a seed into Shady Creek Run, and perhaps in time it will sprout and grow.
All praise Lathander, for he is good.
For he is good. All right, Ish. I would say it is. I would say it takes you most of the day to do that, so it's gonna be relatively pretty much like dinner time. Like the sun is just falling as you settle in for your glorious repast. Let us circle back to Zale and Morish. You have waited out your 2 hours in reflection or whatever it is you've done, perhaps going over what it is you wish to speak. When Talir knocks on both of your doors, still dressed in his fine robes, and he says, "I have impressed upon the Lord the urgency of your request. He will speak with you."
Before we go, Talir, it's good for us to refer to him as my lord constantly, isn't it? That's like the thing. Yeah. Okay.
My lord has not lived for 1200 years to be disrespected in his own home.
Of course. Zale, who's doing the talking?
Flip a coin.
I mean, I'm happy for you to go.
You can do it.
Yeah.
Roll a d20.
Okay.
All right.
There you go.
Me.
All right. as you immediately go over this with Talir in front of you, flipping a coin, and he just watches a little bit puzzled. All right. Follow me. And he leads you down the way toward Lord Trebane's meeting room. This windowless chamber beneath the staircase with only one entrance and exit. No windows, of course, nothing with which to be heard, no apertures to be listened to, and in fact, the walls are sealed with a magical barrier of soundproofing. Though none of you know this, Talir does. And you enter the room and you see Lord Darko Trebane sitting on his high chair at the head of the wide oval table, several seats on either side, elevated above all of you, imperious and regal as he is in his scintillating purple robe. His features have a slightly haggard cast, his skin a bit wan, pale, the wrinkles more pronounced around his eyes and his jawline. As he holds in his hand a scepter of spiraling black metal, tipped with a red ruby at the top, and he seems to consider it in the light, and then looks up at the two of you entering. Talir at the head of the room, taking another seat at the far corner, to sort of sit in on this conversation.
I'll take a bow and say thank you for seeing with us. Thank you for seeing us, my lord, on such short notice.
I apologize for intruding on your recuperation period, my lord, but we have pertinent information in regards to your homeland and birthright that we thought you should know immediately.
His face is a mask, difficult to read and impassive. He considers your words and says, "Do away with the pleasantries. If it is business you wish to discuss, then we shall discuss business."
Take a seat.
Very well.
What is the nature of this request? I am told there is a matter most urgent to attend to.
It concerns Adrian and his intentions. He has journeyed into the Savalier Wood to complete a teleportation circle to the city with intentions of plundering the city and arming a small army for the Empire. we intend, as soon as possible, to pursue him. Afterwards, after the matter is dealt with, you previously mentioned a wish to gain a foothold, potentially return to the city. I'm not sure of your intentions, but perhaps we could combine the two goals. And if you would like to assist or in any way help, that would be greatly appreciated. But for the most part, we were simply informing you of the intentions of Adrian in regards to your homeland.
You speak very politely, for which I suppose I must be grateful. Boorish men and women such as you often come about demanding things of me, but I must ask plainly, is it my help you ask? Or are your intentions truly just to inform me?
We are asking for your help, my lord.
And what of the city itself? Adrian Lux and the Assembly have long held their eye on my birthright, my home, my gem lost to me. Many covet its riches and its power. And you say you would not be interested in it for yourselves? You would not attempt to plunder it on your own right, were you given the means? Do you speak true and honest of this?
My lord, I would just like my ring back more than anything.
I would like my father's braces and my own personal goals lie outside the city. But I do owe you, my lord, and I will be prepared to do whatever you would ask of me.
Are both of you speaking honestly?
Yes, 100%, yeah.
I actually am.
Okay.
I have 5 years to live. I want to wrap this shit up and
Yeah,
then go do
I
what
want
I
my
can
ring back.
before I combust into a pile of dust.
Alright, fair enough to the both of you, I suppose. The ruin Adrian seeks is what is known as a waystone. A arcane anchor of sorts that stabilizes the chaotic energies that swirl around Malleus Mere. I may be aligned. And what aid of mine would you seek?
Either manpower or items that would aid us on our quest. My lord.
Yeah, either manpower or gear.
I will give to you Talir in your service. He has expressed an inappropriate fondness for your lot. I will further grant you the use of another such arcanist in my employ, a woman most distinguished in my service. Know this, however, they will be watching you. They will be my eyes and my ears, and should your interests err, should you set sights on the city beyond that which you have said, they will not hesitate to strike you down. And if they themselves cannot, they will open the way for me to do it myself.
Understood.
If it is items and magical power with which you seek, there is one direction I can point you towards, another confluence of our interests, which seem to have been aligned so nicely. There is, in the direction you are heading toward this ruin, to the north, in the direction of this city, a ruin of another type altogether. A vestige of my nation and my people. A stronghold with which we had intended to hold against the tides of the demons and the abyssal creatures and entities, the devils, all that would seek to plunder our riches and forsake and destroy it. It has been lost to us. I would see my birthright restored to me, a stepping stone, as it would, on the way to the city itself. Cleanse it of the unholy filth that has taken it, and you will find, deep sequestered in its halls, a bounty that will aid you.
Thank you for this information. We will do this.
I expect that you shall. What else is it that you require of me?
Supplies? We need supplies for the journey? I'm guessing? It's above table I'm asking this, like...
Yeah, I thought we restocked, didn't we? We got all the potions we wanted.
I'm talking about food and stuff, though. Like... Are we gonna
We
need
can
that?
grab them. We can grab them on the way out. He's obviously ridiculously pissed off. And
Yeah,
if we
okay,
push it
don't worry,
anymore-
I'm not gonna ask for supplies. No, nothing else then.
Very well.
Plate mail? I'm joking. I didn't actually say that.
Very well. Your request has been made. Talir will mark on your maps the location of this place of which I speak. Now go. Be gone from my sight. I have many things to consider.
I'm gonna stand up, take a bow. Thank you for your time.
I'll stand up and take a bow, but I won't say anything because he's obviously a bit annoyed with the pleasantries just because of his recuperation thing.
Gonna get out there as quickly as possible. Shuffle on out.
Alright. And you go, and Talir follows in behind you, the door closing with an ominous thud. And you are left in the foyer.
Looks like you're
Talir
coming with us, eh?
He gives a bit of a nervous smile, and he says, "Oh my, to be terribly honest with you, I am not an adventurer like you. I've mostly just studied my magic in libraries and such. I'm not... Oh, this is going to be interesting, huh?"
Just keep your eyes peeled and your wits about you and you'll be fine.
It's character building, and I just like give him like a good game hand on the back. But because I'm 6'8" and ridiculously muscular, and he's a tiny little elf wizard, I just kind of it's like
Too much.
Yeah, he jumps up a little bit, almost cringes under the force of your friendly hand, and he smiles again quickly and nervously and says, I shall take some time to prepare myself. I imagine this will be a hard journey, and there are things I must prepare. What time shall we leave?
when day breaks.
On the morrow, then. Very well. I shall be ready.
Sorry, what I miss?
Nothing much. Claire just basically asked him what time you were leaving. Zale said tomorrow at daybreak.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
I'm gonna fuck off to Zamara's room and leave her a note.
Okay. Let's see. What time would it be? It would be 1 o'clock. I'd say like 1:30 or so. You've recuperated her last night. I would say actually, as you enter the room,
Oh shit.
she is in fact awake, laying on her bed, looking weak, pale, but her eyes are open. She is leaning out, looking out the window. The window faces the Savalier Wood with its gnarled trees and scarred land. Quite a decent view out. The Trebane Manor stands on the top of a long hill, atop of a high hill. So she has a decent view of the horizon, the trees stretching out into the distance, a mountain in the distance, pale and ugly thing, scarred and wind blasted, looking quite desolate in the distance there. She hears the door open and she looks over her shoulder. Was of cold. I lay there on the stone, and I heard the chaos all around me, but the sound grew distant, faded, and I was so cold. So very, very cold. But I'm alive. Because of you, I assume? What did you do?
I merely asked for a favor.
Make a deception check. I'm gonna have her roll insight.
Come on, dice.
He's not proficient in insight. Interesting. Natural
Oh.
20.
Okay.
Natural 20. Sometimes the dice tell their own story, huh? She looks at you. This is the first time you've had a proper chance to really converse, to see each other. It's been a very long time. The last you saw her, she was just a child. I don't even think you guys were like in double digits yet when the slavers came. She looks so much unlike the girl you knew. So very different. Her features hardened with age. You are both not. How old are you, Zale?
24?
Very young, fairly young then, yeah, and as is she, perhaps a year younger
Jesus
than you.
Christ!
But her features are hardened. Her eyes look like they belong to a much older woman set in her face, and she looks at you, looks into your eyes with a long and searching look, sees the cast of your expression and the way you hold yourself, the way you stand. She is silent for a while, and without looking you in the eye, her gaze now shifted back toward the window, turning her back to you. She says, "You paid a price, didn't you?"
I did.
It was. It's just like you to sacrifice yourself, always putting others first. Always. I don't know how much is left of the boy I knew, and you do not know how much is left of the girl you knew. Time and cruelty have taken so much from us. Are you well, at least? Will you be strong enough for what comes ahead?
I believe so. There is work to be done.
And what is that work exactly, if you don't mind my asking? I was in the brand to seek out others like us, others who had not escaped, who were not so fortunate, perhaps to find my brother. But I did not find him. Were you doing the same? Are you doing the same? I can see you are geared for war.
Since I escaped captivity, I have wandered from place to place, making coin, freeing slaves where I can. We came here to do a job. It was a surprise invitation, really. Seemed like a job like any other, and then we were betrayed. I had my father's braces stolen from me, along with many other powerful magical items from my party, and they fled. We came back to the city, and in a bid to attract attention from another one of the crime families to gather information, we stormed the brand. Finding you was pure happenstance, but everything, the universe moves as it means to, and I found you, and
What?
I've thought about these things for so long, and it's just difficult to put into words, but
What you call happenstance, I call fate. And it does work in odd ways. Perhaps we were meant to reunite. Perhaps you were meant to pay this price on my behalf, though. If that is fate's will, then I would protest it. However, I can tell that what lays ahead will be difficult for you. I am still weak, not yet strong enough to leave my bed, but I am told that by morning I'll be able to walk, and the day after, to fight. I would go with you, if you'll have me.
what of your brother?
I had heard that he was taken by another band. We escaped together, actually, for a time, into the woods. And there we both developed a keen eye for nature, an attunement to the forces and wonders that it holds. He in one way and I in mine. Until fate worked in its odd, circuitous, serpentine way and deigned to see us imprisoned once more. I was taken by the Mardoons, he was taken and purchased by a mercenary company. Like so many others that run through this place, I assume to be trained and perhaps broken toward their use. Where he is, I do not know, but fate will no doubt deign to bring us together once again. Of this I am sure.
I will tell you, Zamara, in the morning I ride for the Sivalia Wood. When you regain your strength, if you would like to join me, you are free to, but before you do so, I will inform you of several things. If you are in tune with nature, towards the woods, towards, I think it was north woods, you said?
North. Yes, north.
There lies some druids in the forest there. Perhaps a potential to realign yourself, possibly re-strengthen your magics. And also, to the east of the city, the mercenary company that destroyed our village when we were children.
You have a lead on them. They're here.
I do.
So close at hand. Oh,
But I don't yet have the means. I received the information from a member of the Jagantoth family, but I cannot yet act on it. There are... The situation I ride for in the Sivalia Wood hit a mage for the Empire seeks to plunder a ancient city of magical artifacts and arm the Empire. I have waited so long for my vengeance, but this issue it's pressing, and it concerns more than a small little village that was destroyed. And as much as it hurts me, I have to attend to this first. I've given you all the information I have at my disposal, and I have given you freedom. I have been freer than most, and now it is time for the others. Do what you wish when you are fit. If I would see you in the Sivalia Wood, I would welcome you with open arms. But you are free to do as you wish.
still facing toward the window, her back to you, you cannot see her expression. She looks in at the light as it comes down. The clouds, the overcast clouds, have now pulled away a bit, and you can see hints of blue sky, the sun coming through, painting radiance across the fine fabrics of her bed and the room and the furniture. She gives a little nod that you can only see from behind, and she says, "You paid a price for my life. I don't know what it was. I suspect you would not tell me if I asked. But you paid a price. And it would only be right for me to aid you in this. Whenever you intend to head out, I will meet you there. I suspect I will not be strong enough to march at speed for some time, but I know ways to reinforce myself, and I will keep pace, I assure you of that. You intend to do something big, and I always wanted to change this world, make a difference, to do good. In you, I see the chance to do that. Thank you, Zell, for everything."
I still have more to give. And I'll walk out.
You don't hear it as you walk out the door and close it behind you, but she whispers to herself, "Be careful that you do not give until you have nothing left to spare." And the scene closes out, and
I turn around and stick my head back in the door and go, "Oh, sorry, we're actually leaving in the morning. I forgot to mention that." And then walk off again.
there you go. Yep. All right. Okay. Ish yours, Kieran, anything you all would like to do?
Yeah. I'm still gonna talk to the orb. I'm gonna hold it in the hands. I'm gonna say, "Oh, great one. What can I do to make amends? I have insulted thee. Tell me what I can do."
You have insulted me, lovely Kieran. Insulted me gravely, taking my power for granted, using me as a common trinket. However, I am magnanimous. I hold all the world's knowledge in my depths, and I can find it in me to forgive you. If you but give me to feed. The minds of mortals are such rich, delectable things. Find one and kill, and I will take from it all that it has to give, and your favor will be restored.
Kill an innocent? But oh, great one!
Innocent.
There must be
Innocent.
another way.
Innocent, guilty, I do not care, only that I am fed.
We shall see. Oh, great one.
And the orb goes silent and sullen, all whispers fading away, and you are left with a sense of implacable loneliness.
Google. Implacable. Okay.
All right. It's yours. I would say, unless there's anything you all would like to do in intervening time, we will just skip ahead to as your dinner concludes, right around, I'd say, like 6 o'clock in the evening, with this lovely gnomish couple.
Sure.
As your meal finishes and they refuse your, excuse me, they refuse your payment, you have your band of merry men fed and watered. And as the last of the food goes down and a final refreshment toast is laid out for your group and your repast, the group looks to you as if expecting words, some final bit of guidance, perhaps an order to follow.
Today has been a day of healing, a day of trial, and a day of reward. Each step of today has been a test, which I'm pleased by Lathander to see that you've all passed, and I know that your faith is pure and strong. They have gold left, don't they?
Yeah, they all still have the gold that
Yeah.
Zale gave them, the
Yeah.
50 in total, because these guys did not accept any of your payment.
That's quite a haul, isn't it?
It's a lot of money, yeah. I mean, 1 gold, I'd say, is like the equivalent of like 100 USD. So each of them has quite a bit of. I mean, gold is a little flexible than that. It's a lot of money,
Yeah.
though.
You all have money to tide you over now, thanks to Brother Zale, and I hope that you use this to better yourselves and better the people around you. I bow my head.
The nervous, spindly man with his threadbare clothing and scratchy beard and hollow, recessed eyes looks at you with a look of almost like panic, and he says, "Are you leaving us, Sir Prophet? Are you alone in this cold, dark world without your guidance?"
I am leaving you to help other lost sheep who need to be restored to Lathander's flock. But know this, I am always with you, and whenever you're in trouble, just pray to Lathander, and he shall give you aid. Or if you feel tested or weak, pray to Lathander, and he shall give you strength.
Make one final religion check for me at advantage, just to see how well you plant the seed of glory that you have sown in these men and women.
120. That is not 20.
That's a natural 1.
Yep.
Advantage.
That's better.
18! That's pretty good, man. That's pretty good. I'll even go a step further. With all of the day's work, Ish, you have never been as fervent a missionary as you have been today, have never spread the light of Lathander as completely and thoroughly and powerfully as you have on this day. It has shown you to see into the hearts of men and to speak to them, to inspire in them the glory with which all men were born, with which all men can aspire to if they but only set their hearts toward it. From here on, you can use wisdom instead of intelligence for your religion checks, which should give you, I think, like a fucking +4 bonus to it. I will go ahead and set that on myself in your sheet. And also, as you look upon these men and women gathered, eating their food, enjoying their repast, you see the light in their eyes gleaming like beacons, their eyes like crystals, beautiful in a way they were not before, when they were just but hollow men and women waiting to die, eating and sleeping and drinking, but never truly living, not until now that they have been awakened to the glory you can show them. And they give nods one by one in a wave spreading throughout the room, and the air, the tension that hangs in this room, the atmosphere, is electric, full of energy and power. And love, glorious love. We will, Prophet, we will spread your word. We will spread love and light. We will be servants of the almighty Lathander. For you we do this. For him we do this.
For Lathander.
For Lathander. The chant, the chant goes through the room in a ripple. Powerful, and you look to the side and you see the gnomish man and his wife joining in as well. And you have started a wildfire.
A cult.
Yep, yep. And immediately the old gnomish man says, it will not be like terribly comfortable, but you can all stay here for as long as you need. I'll set out straw mats and such, and we can all sleep and work here, and you, Brutus, you look like a strong fellow. You can do some work on the farms and raise some money for us, and Sierra, I know a mill woman who is in need of a new seamstress, and slowly they start laying out their plans and start organizing who's going to do what work, the money they'll bring in. They will feed their establishment and keep themselves fed so that they can spread the glory of Lathander around and around, and the light shall never die.
Goddamn, coach.
Damn verb.
You did good, son. You did good. I assume at this point you, after engaging in as many revelries and answering questions and such, you eventually take your leave after dark now, making your way back to the mansion to begin the day anew and prepare for your adventure.
Yes, I quietly slip away, safe in the knowledge that Lathander has helped more people again.
Okay. All right. Nightfall comes upon you all now. Is there anything you all would like to do, either before the morning or just after it?
Yes,
I
I
would
would
like
like
to
to do
go-
something. Oh,
Sure.
you go first. You go
I would
first,
like
Coach.
to find 10 people to bring back to Lord.
No, you cannot.
Okay, that Goliath guy that stopped me from entering the corridor in the beginning, can I try to track him down?
Yeah, actually, go ahead and make a perception check for me. You
Lucky.
never,
Oh, wait.
yeah.
Oh.
How do you never fucking fail on those things, man? Your perception is fucking ungodly, dude.
Cringe.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I mean, expertise will do that for sure. Yeah, okay. Sort of around like 6 o'clock, as the guard shifts change around, you find the Goliath and watch him from distance, skulking in the shadows, unseen this time. And you see he is setting down his weapons and removing his uniform, dressing in street clothes, and he's leaving the manor to return to his home, wherever that may be.
I would like to follow him.
All right, make a stealth check. that is not very good. That is a 6 on his perception. Okay. He takes actually a different road around, and the one around like approaching the main gate of the manor. He circles round toward the back and follows like a lesser side street. Long shadows now. The sun is pretty much on the horizon and melting down and below. Long shadows stretching. Hard to see much of anything. The guard walks alone, whistling a jaunty tune. He seems to be in quite a good mood today for some reason. Who can say? Hands in his pockets, a spring in his step. This hulking, massive man. Nothing but a dagger at his side right now. For all the world, just a man leaving his job and getting ready to head home and relax.
I would like to follow him home and wait for him to sleep.
Okay. Okay. Yep. All right. You follow this Goliath man, and he goes to a certain home still in the northern districts, on the edges. As a direct employee of the Trebanes, he is given a place of privilege and preference, a little cottage, sort of on the outskirts in its own little place with its own wide yard and a hickory tree up front and a swing, a little child-sized swing, tied by ropes to a high branch, and you see a jaunty light burning from inside one of the windows, and he opens the door, and some creeping around the way, stealthy as can be. You hear him grunt out in his grovelly Goliath voice, "Honey, I'm home." And you hear a cheer as two kids run up and hug his knees, and he starts patting their little heads and their little Goliath heads, and it's for all intents and purposes a very happy domestic scene playing out before you.
Fuck.
It's only like 6:30 in the evening right now. You imagine they have to sleep sometime.
He's an arsehole, but he's got kids.
You hear the orb perking up in your possession, the whispers taking your head, almost like a cloud that only you can hear, saying, "Kill, kill, kill."
But Holy One, he has a family.
Kill them too. Feed me.
Can I openly just not listen to it, or does that some sort of check?
It's only
Like,
been a
resist
day.
it?
It's only been a day since you've come into possession of the orb. Its possession of you is not total. I would say at this point there's no check needed. In the future, perhaps, but at this point, you are still enough Kieran to recognize that killing a man and his family is probably not a very in-character thing to do.
No, it's not. I'm sorry, Great One. He's a bit of a cunt, but I can't bring myself to kill a family man. And with that, I'm gonna go back to the Trebane Manor.
You suffer 8 points of psychic damage, and you hear a resonant rebuke ringing in your skull. "Coward! Insolent! I ask you for food, for sustenance, and you deny me!" And the orb goes silent once again.
Yeah, Zale, I was thinking that, but that's also just as bad. Oh boy, yeah. Actually, no, go back to Trebane Manor.
Okay.
No. We're not gonna descend that quickly.
It has only been a day.
It's been a day, yeah.
Yeah.
Already plotting murder.
All right.
You just went out for a walk, mate. I know what you're on about.
Yeah,
I woke up, I found an orb, and by the end of the day, I'd murdered an entire family and their 2 children.
The orb told me I chose violence today, so I guess I chose violence.
Yep.
Absolutely
All right.
no resilience towards it. It just immediately lets it take over.
Kill the innocent. Okie dokie.
Okay. So anyway, I started blasting.
So I start stabbing.
Morris,
Yes.
what are you doing at this time?
I was just getting my stuff in order, I suppose.
Okay. Okay. Need you to make a wisdom saving throw for me.
Bloody hell.
14. 14. Okay. Morrish. It has not been terribly long since the last time you heard the voices in your head spike up. They speak to you constantly, like tinnitus, like a constant droning in the back of your mind, but generally you're able to ignore them. They're not so loud that you are incapacitated by them. There were a few moments a couple days ago, around when all this started, that you felt them flare, that you felt an urge to murder every patron in the tavern in which Adrian first spoke to you, that you drew your sword, materializing it from thin air, green flames licking up along the length of the steel as you prepared to strike down Aaron, the child wizard you found in the cave. You felt them crash like a crescendo in your skull, splitting the domain of your skull and your bones and ripping your head near apart as Mine attempted to inflame them with his orb. They have been quiet since then in the days since. Not a terribly long time, 2 days all in all, but enough time for you to grow complacent. Now, as you sit alone in your chamber, preparing for the day ahead, they creep back in. Like slow hands crawling up the small of your spine, tracing a path from each vertebrae, they crawl in, setting into your mind, growing louder and louder and louder. You are not done, they tell you. You are not meant for this, they whisper. You were made to kill, they say. And you find yourself materializing your sword in your hands from thin air, green flames licking up along the length of the steel, and you envision that child before you once again. You imagine how good it would feel to cut her down, how satisfying with your new gauntlet in hand. The magic is more natural to you than ever before, the power easier to access. And for a moment, you feel the urge to give in. It would be a bad idea to start killing here, in this manner, surrounded by guards, with the favor of the Trebane house hanging over your head, and the voices in your head have a strong sense of self-preservation. But what's stopping you from going out in the night and finding some young, defenseless girl and just murdering her coldly? What's to stop you from killing several? There's no laws in Shady Creek Run. There's no one to stop you. There's no one to hold you accountable. For a moment, you almost think to do it. Just as Kieran is stepping out right now to trail that Goliath man, though you know none of this, you think to do the same, and then, reasserting your will, no, of course not, of course not, of course not. But the voices are there, and they are louder than they used to be.
Do I have any
They've not.
knowledge why they might be louder?
No clue.
No.
They have a tendency to ebb and flow, as they have for as long as you've known them.
Okay.
And perhaps, for now, they are just in a state of flow. Or there could be a reason for it, you don't know.
Okay. Gonna take a seat and some deep breaths and try and chill out.
Alright. Indeed you do. Anything else from the rest of you? Ish, I would say you've returned to the manor at this time. Kieran, the same.
I will come in whistling hymns. Wave at the guards who laughed at my orb or my balls.
One of them, the head guard, the one who went in to get the reinforcement in the first place, glowers at you, hand tensing around his spear. He's retaken his post at the guard. Interestingly enough, the sword and shield guard who went with you to go get his food never returned. He's presumably still with the other peasants at that gnome husband and wife's place. Maybe he's just abandoned his post altogether now. But that guard has been replaced with a different one, and the spearman looks at you, glowers, and almost like lays his spear over the entrance of the gate, but then recognizing that you're a guest and he hasn't been given orders otherwise, lets you through. As you immediately go to speak, the other guard pipes up and says, "Don't listen to this one. He's full of shit." And the younger guard looks confused, looking between the two of you.
Unfortunately, some people are blind in their lives to the Thandar, and are destined to go through its suffering in the darkness.
To go through suffering? What do you mean by that, small one?
Without the Thandar in your life, you will find the trials that he gives you harder than they would be with his assistance or help.
I don't like hard things. Hard things make my head hurt. This is a very simple-minded man. I'm gonna have you make another religion check with your new souped-up stat.
How do I use my new souped up stat?
The same way you did before, just click on it. I already changed the attribute over. Now uses your wisdom instead of your intelligence, which is much higher.
It still says +3, or was it always +3?
Refresh the page. It should be +7 now.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Okay.
Both
Yeah, so I guess for a total of 18 there, which is pretty damn high. No, it doesn't matter. 18, 20, they're both pretty good. The simple-minded guard, this hulk of a man with muscles and almost no neck. His neck's so buffed out it kind of devours his lower chin. Gives you a look as you speak, and as you continue to speak, and he is on the dawn of understanding when the spearman guard raps him on the side of the head with his knuckles and says, "Don't listen to him! What did I tell you, you idiot! You stupid fool! You motherfucking idiot!" And he just starts berating him.
As this happens, I'm gonna step up and I'm gonna say, "Are you really gonna let him speak to you like that? You're clearly better than he is."
The other spearman's guard's knuckles are just rapping against his ears relentlessly, but he's not really flinching. He's kind of got a big old head, like a big old block of a head, and he looks down at you and he looks at Ish and he says, "Small one's telling me not to listen to you. Small ones tell me I am stronger. Gref knows he is stronger. Why listen to you? Why are you so mean to Gref?" And then a fight breaks out between the two of them. And
Is there a potential death?
not really. It's just a fist fight. They're not using their spears.
I'm gonna throw in a sword. I'm kidding.
No, there's no bloodshed. Before too long, the Gref has laid out the spearman on the ground, and he stands over him, shoulders square, breathing hard, and he gives another look at you and says, My head hurts, but I like it when you say words, little one. Could you say more words to Gref?"
Yes, I will also cast Cure Wounds on him.
Alright, and yep, whatever injuries he sustained are healed, and he smiles, closing his eyes as a wave of contentment washes over him. "That feels good. That feels warm. Gref has not felt warm since Mommy died. Will you be my new mommy, little one?"
I'm gonna take a step backwards.
I give him a big hug and pat his head and say, "Unfortunately, I cannot be your new mummy, for no one could replace her. She was blessed by the Thandar. I pass on the address where the small old couple were and all the other homeless people are, and say, if you go here, you will meet other brothers and sisters.
Will they make Gref feel warm like Small One made Gref feel warm?"
They will, and more, and you will help other people feel warm as well."
"Gref will go." And he immediately throws his weapons down and starts walking down the road.
Jesus Christ, Kush.
Literally. I love this. I love this arc that he's going on.
The head of HR at the manor is going to be so pissed at him. Training day.
There are good 2 weeks' notice.
2 guards, just in one day.
Yeah. Look, man, I am a security guard in real life. You know how fucking hard it is to train new hires? All the shit you have to do to get them up to speed, every patrol route you have to run them through, all the shit you have to do, the procedures and whatnot. This is gonna be like fucking 3 weeks of man-hour labor to get these guys replaced. You are causing them quite a bit of harm.
I love this. I love it so much.
That sounds like a them problem.
It does, doesn't it? All right, good shit, guys. Anything else from the rest of you before we close out our session?
Can't think of anything.
Just when Ish comes in, I'll just go up to him and I'll just be like, I want to apologise for earlier. I realise your heart's in the right place, and I do agree with your actions, but it's a high tense situation at the moment, and we just need to keep in everyone's good graces for the moment.
Huh?
I
What
forgive
did he
you, as
do?
does Lathander.
Wait a minute, what did he do?
Oh, when he tried to get all the homeless people in the house, I turned up and bribed them to fuck off.
Wait, homeless people? Wait, what homeless people? What happened?
What, you don't remember?
Did you
I
fall
was
asleep?
I was not there, if you remember correctly.
Oh, are you talking?
Oh,
in
You saw them come in.
Yeah, you did. You were there enough to
Yeah.
see the
Yeah, because you
entourage.
used it as a
as you were-
distraction.
to sneak into the back. Yeah.
Did I see them past the guards? I remember I saw a commotion with Kuch, but I didn't really look at...
You would have seen some of the homeless people coming through, and you probably would have seen Ish, because he's hard to miss with that flame. Is that flaming halo still around your head, Ish?
Yes. I don't think I
Okay.
have a concentration or anything for it. I think I'm just gonna. It's permanently gonna be there now.
Yeah. Until you dispel it, your head is going to be perpetually on fire. Yeah. Yeah, you would have seen that, Kieran, and it is
Okay.
eminently familiar to you as you look at him now.
I love that. Why? What happened today? Just looks at Ish with this halo of fire, like nothing.
No, nothing at all.
Did the Lord's work.
Holy fuck.
Huh.
All right, boys. Yeah, so we're gonna close out our session here. Good fucking stuff, guys.
Yeah,
Holy
that was
fuck.
awesome. Thank you very much, Verb.
That was
That
fun.
went places. I'm gonna let you know I had like 5 lines worth of notes of things that you could do, but the rest was completely blank. I had nothing prepped. I was like, these fuckers are too chaotic. I cannot predict what they're gonna do. I'm just gonna roll with it. I'm just gonna roll with it. And there we go. Good shit.
Cool. Thank you very much, mate.
Yeah.
Ish Mother Teresa.
Catch you all in a bit. Thank you all for joining.
God, yeah. Thank you guys. Thank you.
Nice
Great
to see you,
session.
Ruba.
That was
Cheers.
fun.
No thanks.
Mm.